welcome then to the first and only of my NotACon games. It's called the Slithering Shade. We're playing Black Hack, and it's set in Red Suns, which there's posts or whatever. So go have a look at that. So these guys, we're gonna just jump like straight into this. No pussy dicking around. So the five of you are kind of just people who live in Basharud, and you do what you can to make ends meet. It's a very poverty-stricken place. It's a very kind of hard. It's hard to get work and that sort of thing. If you have any fighting talent, you immediately get basically taken to the guards. So, and you have to join the guard. And so, for the most people, such as yourselves, you do what you can to make ends meet. You know, doing unpleasant and simple jobs just to scrounge enough coin together. Or maybe you're doing it for altruistic reasons. Whatever it may be, you're you know, you have your reasons. Now, each of you have been given, or together, maybe you've been given a job. You've each been hired individually by the stewards of Ashkel's Hall. Ashkel is one of the many gods in this setting, and his people are, well, they're fairly wealthy. And like most low-level adventurers, you've been given a job to head into a basement and find the source of strange noises. So that's where we're going to start. The five of you are in your base, in this basement. Now, I'm going to give you a brief description, then we'll let you go through and sort of come up with your characters, or describe your characters. Hopefully, you've already kind of come up with them. So the basement, the first thing you see is the amount of food and drink in here. Maybe this kind of makes you a bit angry because, as I said, it's so poverty-stricken. There is almost no water. There is very little access to things like food and drink. So this is kind of coming down into this enormous basement is this huge stockpile of crates and kegs, and you know, you see bottles of wine and racks all along the walls. You see piles of food and crates and boxes of dried goods that could kind of well, could sustain a great many people, yet these so-called priests seem to just want to hoard it for their own uses. You also see things like vestments and candles and supplies for kind of conducting ceremonies, but they're kind of further to the back. You see great rugs and these sort of beautiful Persian tapestries and all that kind of thing, all hidden. And clearly this is a very wealthy temple, but it doesn't want to let on that it is, because it will all be taken by the establishment. It's a very sort of like, I guess you could say, liken it to communist, where if you have something, it's also mine, and the government will take it and redistribute it, but redistribute it how they see fit. So anyway, all five of you have been hired individually, like I said, to clear out whatever's in this basement. There are, you know, you're all standing around, you've all kind of been brought along. So we'll just go through one by one. Give us a quick description of your character, maybe what they're doing in the basement. So we'll start with C.
Yeah, I am playing Tamia. She is a thief, perhaps not, advertised as such. She just does what needs to be done, and so is of things. Sorry. So yeah, she's probably just inspecting all of like the wine that's in like the bottom of this basement, because it's probably like the largest amount that she's seen in one place. That
Definitely
isn't like yeah.
Like there's a lot of wine anyway, and there's a huge amount of wine for Basharud. Like, you know, you might see one or two bottles a week, like in a bar. So a place like this having this much is, well, it's pretty ridiculous. Dan.
Pierce is a tall, slim, bronze-skinned individual, and Pierce is more of a nickname because he has a large bow over his shoulder and a very broad quiver of lots of finely made arrows. He seems prepared for this kind of lifestyle, and maybe has survived some fights yet. But
Yeah, I mean, most people have kind of been in one or two fights. You know, there's loads of fights over food and that kind of thing. But maybe one or two more than average.
mm-hmm. And he's looking hungrily, but not like he's fed, but he's certainly looking at the gluttons that these priests are hiding and thinking about what he can pocket.
Definitely, and like it's the sort of thing where if you see food and no one's guarding it or whatever, it's likely you might take it because you don't know when you'll next see food.
Mm-hmm. As he probably hunts, so he knows.
You maybe more than most have used to or are used to having a full belly.
Yeah, but he also knows to take when you can.
Yeah. Ian.
I'm playing Nerthal. Nerthal is a young conjurer. He's just recently broken away from his apprenticeship. He's shaved his head completely bald in sort of imitation of his master. He wears a sort of a blindfold type style mask over his eyes. It's actually thin enough that he can still see somewhat through it, but it's to kind of represent the illusion of reality and closing your eyes to the world and seeing with the rest of your perceptions. He wears a pretty light cloth robe that covers most of his body. It hides a lot of the scars that he wears underneath. His master was a cruel master, but he has learned to survive on his own and believes he is now ready as he steps over and grabs a bottle of fine vintage desert wine and slips it into one of the inner pockets of his robe.
Excellent. Would you be trying to hide that from the rest of the group? Or are you just going for it? Are you not worried?
In fact, I'm not so much, but when I see one of them looking at me, maybe with a cocked eyebrow, I just kind of shrug and say, surely they won't miss one.
Definitely. Now your master, just quickly, so he's bald as well, we assume, if you're imitating him. So
yes. He also he's not naturally bald. He also keeps his head shaven.
Right,
he says
so
it's.
I would then suggest that maybe it's the very famous sorcerer Morgan Graveur, who sort of famous for having the bald head or the shaved head and maybe a long voluptuous beard.
Is he a bit of a hard cunt?
He is definitely.
Sounds perfect. Yep.
You put that name in the chat room.
He's a bit of a dick. Most people hate him, but Jeremy.
You guys would see a kind of like an average height, another bronze-skinned individual, even more tan from exposure to the sun. He's got scars all over his face and a thick beard that goes right into his scraggly hair. He's got furs covering his shoulders, and but his bare chest is still exposed. He's carrying a multi-barbed spear, and you said there was like a sound down here, or
yeah. So they've been hearing weird kind of scuffling, squeaking noises, and they just needed some chumps to go in and sort of deal with that.
And Drellick is like a man of few words, so he's kind of acting like he can, like he's like sniffing the air, to see if he can smell anything weird, but he's not very good. He's not very good at stuff like that, so he's not actually picking it.
Yeah, I mean, you can make a wisdom test if you'd like.
Yeah, sure.
See what you smell.
Yeah, well over, so.
Over, so is it a success or fail? Sorry, like
Fails.
over. Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay. Go. Awesome. So, Liam.
I am playing Dawn, a blonde-haired, blue-eyed cleric. I imagine she travels. She travels in like leather, and she started traveling to sort of find her way. When she was younger, she lived a lot in the poverty of Bastrud. She's traveled around a bit, but she's come back and she joined the, what was the name of the god? Sorry,
Ashkul.
she joined the Ashkul temple. This one, but she's like right on the lower rungs. Like she's just joined, so she had no idea that all of this business down here was going on.
Definitely.
And that was one of the reasons she's kind of been picked for this, is because she's like, oh, you're a mook, we'll just send you down there with all these random people. Show your worth to Ashkul or whatever.
Yeah.
And she's looking at all of this thinking, this is something I'm going to have to bring up to the higher ups, because this is not on.
Absolutely. So you're all kind of standing around, like, not really sure maybe what you're looking for. But if anyone else would like to make a wisdom test, see if they can sort of find their way around. See what they can see.
D20, right?
Yep, and you're trying to get less than your wisdom or wisdom.
I rolled a 2. Come on.
Nice.
Nerthal is too busy draining the remnants of his wineskin into his throat and then cracking open another bottle of wine and pouring it in. He notices nothing.
Excellent. So then immediately, Dawn, you're sort of looking around and you see anyone else who succeeded. Your kind of eyes are drawn to these scratch marks.
Oh, I have advantage. Oh, no, still failed.
Great. Thanks for that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Interrupting my flow. No, you see kind of all these scratch marks and sort of scuffs kind of heading towards one corner. And then they kind of immediately stop at this really long, kind of quite thin rug. It's got these weird kind of swirling snake patterns on it, and in really vibrant greens and purples, which are some of the most expensive dyes. So this rug could be worth thousands, so expensive. And it's just gathering dust down here. But the scratching and scuffling seems to stop right at this rug.
Can I lift the rug and see if the scratches continue like underneath it?
Yeah,
like,
so as soon as
they've known this is here, but they tried to cover it up.
Yeah,
I'm
so
ready.
you kind of lift the rug, and there's this like plume of dust and like little grains of sand that have slowly found their way down, kind of maybe been swept like into the basement by a negligent, a negligent mook, much like Dawn.
While our resident babysitter is busy with the rug, Taima is going to attempt to steal some wine for herself.
Definitely. You can make a dex test to see if you...
Yes. I shall succeed with a 12.
Cool. So you're able to kind of slip it in, like into a fold in your clothes, maybe, or into your bag without anyone noticing.
Mm-hmm.
So under the rug, there's this plume of dust and everything, and then you see the scratches do indeed continue right up onto a trapdoor.
Mm-hmm.
And this trapdoor has an extremely
Nerthal says,
Go for it.
Nerthal says, I believe a bottle of wine would be easier to conceal than that rug, Dawn.
Well, I wasn't planning on taking it. I wanted to see if someone's known this thing is here and been trying to cover it up. It appears that might actually be the case.
Covering it up? What? I start to walk over with interest.
She points to the scratches all over the wall.
Oh, I hope it's not another rat job.
It's always a rat job.
I indicate the trapdoor and say, I imagine our culprit's down this way.
Absolutely. And so this trapdoor has like quite a rusted handle, which is weird because clearly it's had some use.
Mm-hmm.
So, because of the scratch marks, but it doesn't seem to, like, the dungeon itself doesn't seem to have been like opened much.
Rats. Why is it always rats in a basement? Do you know how many times that tyrant Morgaine sent me to clear out rats in a basement?
I mean, it could be scorpions.
Or scarabs.
I hope it is.
Or scarabs. Could always be scarabs.
Their venom is quite useful and valuable.
What about sand ferrets?
Their
Straight up.
venom is quite useful.
A bomb suddenly goes off right beneath Dawn's feet. Roll up another fucking character. No.
Ferrets are only good for their pelts, nothing else.
Is
Meat.
there anything else of interest in this room?
What was that, sorry?
Is there anything else suspicious in this room that we can see?
I mean, not really. With a cursory look, it might be worth another look, but you pretty much sure that you're not going to find much more suspicious than
Got a trapdoor in the wall.
than a trapdoor in the middle of the floor. So, you know, up to you. But
Wait, Dawn. I detect something underneath this door. It's your doom. Lead the way, please.
She just sort of smiles, not really sure how to respond, because she's probably not met many conjurers in her time. And she'll open the handle and pull the door open.
so you pull it up and it gives this great squeak, and it slams in again. There's this plumement, and you'll kind of reel back as this kind of blast of cold, disgusting smelling air just wafts up. Pretty much all of you know immediately there are corpses down here. You kind of hear like the buzzing of flies. You smell just something truly foul, and it gets to the point where your breath is kind of caught in your throat and you start kind of coughing.
My mistake. Someone else's doom.
Are we not the first, Dawn?
Would I know that? I don't know if they would have told me that.
Nah, you probably wouldn't know. Nobody tells you nothing.
The elders don't tell me anything.
Right. Well,
Onwards and inwards.
I guess.
After you.
How far? Like, if I peer over the edge, is it just darkness, or can we see
Pretty
something?
much. There is like some flickering light. It looks like maybe there's some kind of torch on in here, but that would be extremely strange because why would there be a torch beneath an abandoned trapdoor?
How deep does it look?
It looks maybe 8-9 feet deep, not too high a ceiling, and you can see the floor below.
I am but a frail conjurer. Please lead the way, fearless leader.
And I think Drellick, after seeing everybody, like he would have been the last one to notice the door and probably wouldn't even have been paying attention while it was open. And he kind of comes over and pushes his way through the crowd of people around it and just jumps down.
So you land, and you do. The first thing is just the air in here. It's impossible to breathe almost. You're like, because the smell is just everywhere. It's inescapable, and it fills your nostrils like it's solid. It feels kind of like your throat is filling with sand, except that it's a disgusting smell. You see that there are indeed two kind of torches near the top, burning with this sort of bluish red flame, and they're not giving off any smoke. They're just sort of flickering, giving the room a sort of eerie, dark, half-lit vibe.
Can I check out those torches and see if they're indeed of arcane nature or if it's some kind of special smokeless
Absolutely.
like tar, oil, or something?
Yeah, so you can just roll an int check there. Maybe with
Sure
advantage
will.
because you're a conjurer.
Ah, sorcery. I rolled a 20.
Did you roll with advantage?
20's
Oh,
a
with
crit fail.
advantage. I'm sorry. I rolled a 5 then.
Okay. And I'm assuming that's a success for a conjurer such as yourself. So, yeah, this is magical flame. You've probably seen your evil master Morgaine do something similar, and it's a fairly simple trick.
Not evil, merely misunderstood. And cruel.
Excellent. And so the room.
Yes, there's definitely sorcery at work here, I say to the group, mystically, and in a voice laden with doom.
See how
Back in-
sorcery it is when I put an arrow in it, but each to his own. Does the flame give off any heat?
It does not.
And does the rest of the tunnel look pretty dark beyond?
Yeah. It's fairly dark, but you do see like the light of torches up ahead. But it's sort of it's quite a long tunnel, quite straight, and it's got this kind of curve.
I would like to snatch off one of these magical-looking torches. You said there's no smoke coming off of it.
Yeah, no smoke.
Put my hand close to it. Does it radiate heat?
Not at all.
Then I will see here. I'll take the small sack that I have and put both torches inside of it.
Okay. The torches go inside, and the sack doesn't catch fire. It just sits there.
But
I
we're now in the dark.
knew they wouldn't. Well, I'll take one out then, and I'll hand it to you.
I wave it at you, so like the flame passes across your flesh.
And I put my hands on top of it to show you that it doesn't burn.
Yeah. I'm going to use it. The smell of the bodies, are they here or are they?
Yeah. This tunnel you're in, you think, the smell is so immediate, it must be here.
So somewhere along this tunnel, but not where we're standing right now.
Not where you're standing right now.
Well, perhaps we should move forward then and find the source of this wonderful aroma.
After you?
You take a few steps down the tunnel, and you kind of all freeze as you just hear this sort of wailing, like kind of noise, kind of echoing through the tunnels.
I do like, you know how there's the crossing yourself? I do like the Ashkull version of that.
Yeah, it's probably like a weird diamond circle type thing, but yeah.
It is not the dead you should fear, Dawn, but the living.
I do like a really grimacing thing with a torch just underneath my chin towards Dawn. And then grin. And like,
see what I mean?
It's the ones that are both I'm worried about.
There's just like a flash of like white teeth behind Pierce when he's like, scaring the priestess.
Awesome.
As Timer grins.
So you continue kind of moving down this tunnel, and every so often your feet kind of splash, and you find puddles, and immediately it blows your mind. There's water down here, but you kind of look down and it's like slightly greenish and fetid, which is, I imagine, being thirsty at sea, where you've maybe seen water a few times in your life, and to find some that is so vile and disgusting and undrinkable is a cruel trick of life.
How much drink can I purify with my purify food and drink?
Good question. Does it say?
you do have like the one spell, remember?
It's usually a lot, though.
Let me see.
Let me have a look. Purify food and drink. Removes all diseases from nearby food and drink. Okay. I mean, you can do one puddle.
A puddle. I'll hang on to it until we find a bigger body of
Yeah,
water.
exactly.
Sure. And so as you see, and you continue moving, and you see up ahead, there's like this weird kind of shape, and it's about as tall as one of you, maybe 5.5 feet tall, but it takes up almost the entirety of the tunnel. It's sort of this vaguely round shape, and it's at the moment it's just like a silhouette against the light. Maybe it looks like a giant boulder or something that's sitting in the middle of right in your way as you kind of move up this tunnel. And as you get closer, the smell of rotting flesh and death becomes just more and more pronounced and stronger, almost to the point where it's making your eyes water and it's unbearable. And finally, when you
Does
approach,
it look like it's moving?
it does not. It just kind of lays there, and when you get closer, you see kind of a sign of scales, and then you see a fin. You see this long kind of protrusion with an orb at the end, and you people, as players, would understand that this is basically a giant anglerfish that sits rotting, like half of its body is basically melted away, it looks like, and just slowly decomposed. And you see like the weird kind of hollow bones and ribs that would hold it together, just kind of poking out of this greenish rotten flesh as it kind of sits in your way.
And and the orb on the end of the like the angular part, the part that lights up, does that seem to be rotting?
It doesn't seem to be rotting actually. It
Um,
looks, it looks actually in pretty good nick compared to everything else.
um, and is it like just for like character purposes? Does it seem like shiny or like
Yeah, it kind of looks to you like a giant gemstone almost, but perfectly round and kind of this golden orange color. It's very alluring, but the
Is
smell
it giving off light?
it's not giving off light, but it is sort of, you can tell that it's slightly shiny and kind of maybe it's sort of like the torchlight is sort of illuminating it somewhat, making it kind of sparkle.
um, and I imagine Drellick was in the front, and he kind of looks to the rest of the party and kind of grunts and goes, "Mine," and he grabs the orb on the anglerfish.
Yeah, and I mean it takes like a little bit to sort of pull it off. Maybe you have to cut it, but yeah, you can definitely get it off. It's like the size of a football or a soccer ball if you're American, sort of like it maybe a human head kind of size.
Are we anywhere near the ocean?
You are actually. You are kind of, Basharud is not necessarily coastal, but you can walk for like an hour and get to the sea. So you're relatively near, but you know, fish can't walk.
No. Is it? Do we? You said you heard the sounds of water. Is it rushing towards a particular direction, or?
You're more just hearing like the occasional drip and splash as you
Okay,
step
so
in a
it's
puddle.
more moist than it is.
Yeah.
Moist.
Okay. Hmm. I have to say, I think I could catch you something better. This doesn't look too edible. And he's looking at the bronze tall warrior.
Could you catch something as large?
I mean, I haven't yet. Doesn't mean I couldn't. It'd be fresher.
I think anything would be fresher than this.
He kind of like nods in agreement.
How like large are like the teeth on like this anglerfish? Because like anglerfish have like pretty gnarly.
Yeah. So I mean, these
Fangs?
are like dagger length, but most of them are falling out, and they're not
May I take one then?
absolutely, but they're not that hard. They're extremely sharp on the end, but they're not that like durable. You don't think? There may be one use, maybe two,
Okay.
but yeah, you're not sure.
I'm gonna pick up like 2 of them.
Cool. So basically, you can treat those like a dagger, but they have a D4 usage die. So every time you use them, you got to roll a D4. If you roll a 1, then it breaks, and you don't get any more uses.
What
And
about
then-
the scales? How solid are they?
The scales, sorry, the scales are they're kind of well, they're fish scales, so they're already not very solid. Like you won't want them as armor or something, but these ones are rotting, so they're pretty much
Even
useless.
worse.
Yeah,
They're all rotten. Okay, fair enough.
yeah.
What's Ashgul the god of, by the way? Or do they
Uh,
have specific delineations?
Rotting
sort of,
fish.
Wouldn't that be lovely?
I mean, Ashkul is he's a god of sort of they're more gods of concepts rather than like a specific
Okay.
thing. So he embodies things like feasts and not necessarily gluttony, but celebration. So he's quite you know, he's quite popular because people are hungry, but the priests, you know, can
Or
sometimes
not.
slightly chubby rather than skinny.
He's kind of like the Dionysus of.
Very much a
Slithering.
Dionysus type character, yeah.
Could I determine how long this fish has been down here? Through how long it's decomposed?
Yeah, sure. Why don't you make a int check? Int
Oh.
test.
Damn it. I got 20. No
Uh,
chance.
Long old time, do you reckon?
It's been
or a
down here
short
for a
time.
long old time. Don says.
You're kidding, right?
I mean, does it look like it was here yesterday?
I'd say it was here yesterday, yes.
Too
So
old
if,
for
if everyone's done fondling the fish, am I able to just pass by it?
No, it's pretty much taken up the whole corridor.
All right.
You think you might have to climb over or through.
Can't smash it up a bit.
Yeah,
and,
you could do that.
Yeah, cool. Do you want to help me?
Nerthal will step back. Such butchery of rotting fish is beneath him.
I'll help Pierce.
I'll throw some of them towards Nerthal over my shoulder.
So it's pretty mundane. Like I'm not gonna make you roll for it because like you basically start hitting it and it just kind of caves in on itself, turning into a bit of a puddle. But you definitely get a little bit of fish juice on you, and you're gonna smell for weeks.
Cool. I make sure to get as much of it on other people as possible.
Yeah. But eventually you can pass it, and you kind of round a corner, and up ahead you see a doorway with a more kind of flickering bluish red light. And as you sort of like step up to the doorway, how do you proceed? Are you just going to burst in? Are you going to step on any traps on purpose that might be?
Oh, I'm going to look for traps, at least, around the door.
Cool. So make me a int check.
Int?
Whiz.
I would have thought wisdom, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Does this count as a delicate task?
It does say, I think, finding traps. Doesn't it?
It's
Or is it
opening.
opening locks?
Yeah.
I have to
Sure, why not?
advantage. Okay. Okay, roll the same on both dice. So 14, which is a fail by 1. So
Cool. All right. There's definitely no traps.
cool. Does the door appear to be locked? Can I hear anything behind it?
It doesn't appear to be locked, but maybe you do hear another one of those wails. But you're not sure if it's behind it. It does seem quite distant.
Okay. So not locked. I'm gonna give it a little cautious Jimmy.
Cool. Yeah, it opens.
Sweet.
And it just swings into this kind of square, long room. And you immediately, the smell pervades, but there's this other smell as well. It's more like rotting wood. It's more sweet, and this kind of sickly odor that kind of makes the back of your throat itch, and makes you sort of want to clear your throat and cough, but it's almost like an itch rather than a kind of overcoming of all your senses. You see in one of the far corners, next to a door, there is this huge kind of rotting pile of wooden rags, maybe about 6 feet high and like 10 feet across, and just sort of appears to be like furniture and clothes that have all just been kind of piled up in one corner, as if to move them out of the way. You see that there's a door in the far wall and then another door on the right. Kind of as you're going in, this is so, on the east and the north wall as you're looking at it. And there is, one door looks similar to the one you just came through, the one straight ahead, but the door to your right sort of looks like maybe it's made of a lighter, thinner material, almost as though it's not necessarily of the same caliber as the door you've just passed through.
I'll go up to that door.
Okay.
Does it look to be locked?
It doesn't, but you'd have to try it.
Can I give the room a glance through for anything? Like a quick search.
Yeah, sure. Wisdom check.
Stand back. This door
Yes.
appears to be mystically locked. And Nerthal will speak some arcane sounding words and then reach down and try to open the door.
Okay. The door opens in a most impressive way. And you're greeted by a fairly small, like, walk-in cupboard. you see like some smashed bottles, like an old broom, and some very like kind of miscellaneous items. One thing does catch your eye though. This like weird gold chain that kind of sits in one corner, and it kind of gleams in the strange light, and it's clearly made of real gold.
You said it's a dexterity check to pocket such things?
If you'd like to do it stealthily, yes.
Maybe I won't. Does it look like you said it looks out of place? Obviously, it's a gold chain in a cupboard,
Yeah.
but does it seem to be dusty or dirty like everything else here, or does it look like it's been recently placed here, or is in some other way unnaturally immaculate?
There is a thick layer of dust over everything in this cupboard, including the gold chain.
Good. Then I'll reach out and I'll grab it.
Okay.
And I'll hold it up.
Yeah.
Almost reverently in front of my face, and I'll turn and I'll display it to the rest of the group.
Make me a quick int test.
Okay. Do I get advantage on that?
Yeah, you do. Just tell me if you succeed.
I do.
Okay. There's some magic to this thing.
Was there anything else in the room?
Not really of worth, apart from the pile of rags and wood. As for the gold chain, you feel kind of emboldened, strengthened, but you also feel maybe slightly paranoid. Like this chain is yours, but everyone seems to kind of be looking at it as though they want it to be theirs, but it's not theirs; it's yours.
There is fell magic about this thing. Perhaps too dangerous for the rest of you. And I will slip it. What kind of chain is it? Like a necklace chain, or?
No, it's a bit bigger than that. It looks like it may have been maybe some kind of leash for a dog.
I'll slip it into my sack along with the torches. Well, the one
Before-
torch. I gave one
Before he
to.
does that, can I see whether it's Ashko related?
You can.
That'd be
Make me,
wisdom, right?
Yeah.
I succeed.
You see no heraldry on it. You don't think it's Ashkul related.
Okay, cool.
So, Ian, while you've got that chain on your person, you've got advantage on contests or
Cool.
constitution tests, not
Mhm.
contests. But yeah, you if someone tries to take it from you, you might be in a disagreement.
Yeah, I bet I would.
Yeah.
Though he has it in a sack, so he's not exactly wearing it.
Well,
So, as long as it's
but
in my
it's on
possession.
this person. That's not a problem.
Oh, okay.
You don't have to be wearing it. You just have to have it because essentially it's meant to, you know, if it was worn as a leash, it would grant the bonus to both the person on the leash or the thing on the leash and the person holding the leash. So,
I'm gonna have a dig through the pile of rags and broken furniture and shit.
okay, make me a strength test. And I want you to add +2 to it as well, please. Just tell me if you pass or fail. You there, Liam?
He's not replying.
He's dead.
All right. Well,
I guess he failed.
yeah, I guess he failed. Okay. I'm going to grab my dice very slowly, give him a chance to... No, okay. He's failed. So, everyone else, as soon as he disturbs one of the pieces of wood, you see this huge blur of movement, this snapping jaw that flies out of the middle of it and locks itself around him. He has just been attacked by a giant snake that is grabbing a hold of him. So he is going to take 4 points of damage. and is going to have to make a test to see if he gets poisoned. But we'll deal with that when we get back, or when he gets back. So we'll just remember that. But for now, everyone, let's roll initiative, please.
How do you roll initiative in this game?
So you just roll a dexterity test, and if you pass, you go before the monster.
Right.
If you fail, you go after the monster.
After the monster.
After.
You're going after. Okay.
I am but a frail conjurer, after all.
Indeed.
I go before the monster. Drellick.
I am before.
Okay, so we have Nerthal and Pierce, or not, and Pierce and Tamia after.
Mm-hmm.
And we have Pierce and Drellick before.
Think so.
Okay. And we'll see whatever Liam's doing when he gets back. So, Pierce and Drellick, what do you guys do?
So I'd like to try to kind of put my shield to my like shoulder and pin the snake between the wall and the shield.
Awesome. Okay. So you can just make a strength test there.
Pass.
Okay. So yeah, you like this snake is huge. It's already taller than you, and it's not even up to half its height. But you just kind of catch it by surprise and bash it, and hold its head against the wall. And so for now, we'll say it's basically grappled, and you can roll another, and you'll have to roll another strength test on its turn, and it's going to try and escape basically. But you've got it pinned for now. What's pierced?
And as a warrior, do I get to attack at this point? Does it where we can count that as because they get an extra attack or whatever?
You get one extra attack per level, and we're level 1, so...
Yeah. So you just get...
One attack per level, not one extra attack per level.
You just get one attack,
I'm sorry. I read that wrong.
No worries. So yeah, that's going to be your action, I'm afraid, but you're holding it in place.
Does that make it easier for me to shoot?
Yeah, you can have advantage.
Sweet. So yeah, like a well-oiled machine, as soon as Dawn gets like fucking digested or whatever's going on, a huge bloody snake, I'm going to spin. The torch gets dropped to the ground if I'm still carrying it, and the arrow is brought up. And we'll go straight for the thing's face. And roll. Oh, I almost crit. I got a 2.
Very well. Roll your damage, sir.
So D8. Boop. Is it just as a flat D8 or is it plus anything? Flat plus?
No, just a flat D8.
Cool. That's 5 damage, and I'll
5
roll
damage.
on the ammo, and the ammo is fine.
Cool. Liam,
And I back up.
Yeah.
Who needs to die?
Okay, so Liam.
Hello.
Quite possibly you.
Yeah,
That's fine.
I'll be nice. So you have to make your strength save, or your So roll +2, get below your strength, hopefully.
No, I rolled my strength. So
Excellent.
and then +2 would be a fail.
Yeah. So basically, you find this, or you move some of the wood, and this enormous snake leaps out and sinks its teeth into you. So you take 4 points of damage, and I need you to make
blocked by armor
a
points.
contest as well. Yep.
This would come under my hardy, wouldn't it? So
I
I
think
have
clerics
advantage
get
for death and con, avoiding poison and paralyze.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay, so roll twice. That's a success. And that was not, but I succeeded.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, so you do not take the extra damage. So just 4 damage.
Okay, so that's all my armor points. Now
Excellent.
we're just the HP. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
And so then after that, after it hit you, Drellick jumped up and pinned it against the wall with his shield. And then Pierce fired an arrow into it, taking away its armor and causing it to make this horrible hiss and spit venom futilely. The snake is going to try and break out again. So you need another strength
does
test.
Dawn initiative for Dawn?
Oh yeah, initiative, Dawn. So So
Is that just
dex test. If you succeed, you go before. If you fail, you go after.
I succeeded by 1.
Okay, so you can have an action then.
I'm gonna smash the head into the snake,
Cool. You have advantage because it's being pinned.
and that's just a strength test, correct?
Correct.
That's cocked die. Oh, I rolled a 1.
Oh, okay. So roll your damage, which is based on your class, and then double the result of the die.
It's only 2.
Nice.
So I go for its head, but it like whips the other way, and I just like clip the back of its neck or something.
You can't quite get a great angle because it's being pinned by the shield.
Oh yeah. There you go.
Nice. Okay. Dralek, roll me that strength test, please. +2 as well.
Still a success.
Nice. So the snake remains pinned and like shakes its head, and its tail is like whipping out, but nothing happens, and it is held fast. Nerthal and Tamia.
Go ahead, Tamia.
I'm going to go up and try and stab it with my daggers.
Go for it.
Okay. While it's pinned, I'm going to succeed with a 9. And because I'm a thief, I'm gonna get 2d6.
That's if you're behind the snake, though.
Well, I'm behind it, right? If it's pinned, I can.
I mean, yeah, if it's pinned, you can easily get behind it. I'm not. Yeah, don't worry about it.
That's what I figured. So 5 damage.
5 damage. The snake writhes and hisses again as the daggers sink in. Nerthal.
I'm gonna back away from it.
Cool.
I will step forward and lash out at it with my staff. But that's a fail. I rolled exactly my strength. So.
Did you do it with advantage?
Oh no, I did not. I keep forgetting about that. In that case, I rolled a 9, so that's a success.
Cool.
My damage is D4 because I'm but a frail conjurer.
A frail conjurer.
3 points.
3 points. So the snake is well and truly pinned at this point, and you guys kind of all have it surrounded. We're back to the top, so Dawn, Pierce, and Drellic, it's your guys' go.
I give a, well, I have a blindfold, so you can't quite see the look in my eyes as I give a chastising glance at the cowardly warrior who backed away.
Who would that be?
Sorry, thief? Whatever.
Yeah. There you go.
Same thing.
Did you say you have a blindfold on? So how could you look at
Well,
her?
That's what he's saying. It's like he gives a look.
It's not a full blindfold. If you had paid attention to my character intro, I can actually see through it. It's just my vision is dimmed.
It's like those scars you get when you're playing pin the tail on the donkey. I mean, you can see a bit through it, but not quite. But you don't see
Exactly.
it.
I'm surrounded by peons.
Excellent. So, Drellic, Dawn, and Pierce, what do you guys like to do?
I'll let the other two hit first.
Mm-hmm. So, Drellic, if you'd like to keep it pinned, then that'll be your action.
All right. So that is a fail.
Okay. So you sort of like move to adjust your grip, and it just like swings its head and kind of pushes you off and whips round, spitting fury. Dawn and Pierce.
Can I grab its tail and swing it into the floor?
You can grab its tail.
Gonna grab its tail. Why not?
I mean, it's about 10 feet long.
Oh, in that case, I'm just gonna smash it with my hammer again.
Excellent.
I thought it was like a little one.
No, it's a giant snake.
No, it's not pinned, so that's a fail. So I whiff it.
Now it's free. It's moving quick and kind of slithering around and much harder to hit. Pierce. You're the only one left.
I hit. I don't run out of ammo, that it is close. And I deal 3 damage this time. So I probably skim it as the beast is free.
Nice. Drellic, as soon as the snake is free, it dives towards you, hissing and biting. I'll need another strength test to avoid its attack. +2 again.
Fail.
Okay, it bites into you. 4 damage, and I need a con test this time to avoid the poison. Again, +2.
I have a 6 in con.
Ouch.
Yeah, fail.
Okay, then you take another 8 points of damage.
I'm down.
Okay, you are out of action. So basically, what that means is you can be healed, and you can just well, basically, if you take any more damage, you're screwed basically. But for now, you're just you're out of action essentially.
Okay, so I'm at -2. Does that matter?
No. You can't go below 0. But on your turn, well, actually, I suppose we can do it now. You just basically roll a d6 to get whatever happens going down.
Okay.
It's supposed to happen after the fight is over and or the character's out of danger.
Cool. Okay, then we'll do that.
We have a rules lawyer in the house.
Yeah, that's the whole point of OSR, is to get rid of that. So, Nerthal and Tamia.
As it's kind of hunched over Drellic and is getting ready to chomp down on him, I'm going to jump on the back of its head and stab into its back. So I'll have advantage, and with a 4, that's a success. And I'm going to roll 6 + 1 for 7 points of damage.
Oh, nice. It is still alive, but only just. It's like its motions are becoming slower, and it seems almost dizzy. Nerthal.
Right, I will. Yeah, I'll smack at it again with the staff.
Nice.
But I'll miss.
Very well. Dawn, Pierce, and Drellic. It is back to you guys. Well, Drellic, you're out of action. But Dawn and Pierce. The snake is basically like trying to escape now, and it's writhing against the many blades and cuts in its body.
Taima is like riding it right now.
Dope.
As she is riding it, I hit it for 5 damage.
Very well.
Preferably in the head.
Like, did you kill it?
Right. The trained hunter instincts, knowing that it's very easy to still sell snake hide when you haven't damaged it too much, aim for the head, and he shoots directly through.
Dope.
And it probably flails miserably while we all watch it, the last elements of its life fade away.
Definitely. It like curls up, and there's this sort of like horrible rustling noise as it moves through the rotting wood.
Mm-hmm.
So we're okay. Now, Jeremy, if you'd like to roll your out of action then to see what happens. Because you're out of danger.
I got a 6.
Oh shit, dude.
Oh, all right. You're dead. Sorry, man. That's 1. So you all sort of go over to see Drellic.
That's 1. You're keeping score.
Yep, that's 1. You go
this is
to see
going to be a long
Drellic.
night.
Yeah. And you immediately see that the veins up his neck and from the wound turn black. What does Drellic look like as he's dead? Does he look regal or does he look...
So like I imagine that Drellic like almost instantly atrophies, and his like last word right before he croaks is "not again," and and then he dies.
Awesome.
Does Drellic have a dagger?
No, he has a spear and a shield.
What else has he got?
Backpack,
Dawn's gonna claim that
rations.
shield.
I got 50 foot of rope, a gambeson, whatever that is.
Gambeson is a type of armor.
It's your armor.
I see. Torches, flint and steel, and 3 coins.
Shame. It's almost beginning to like him.
Yeah.
Dawn gives him his last rites, and then he picks up his shield.
I'll take the sword.
I'll take the 3 coins.
Apparently, nothing is sacred.
It's a spear, not a sword.
That's what I meant. Sorry.
I gave him his last rites. It's fine.
Taima is going to wipe her daggers off on him.
He's dead. He's not going to need these anymore.
Is it
He's
a
not the-
large shield or a small shield? Sorry.
Small shield.
Cool.
He's not the first ones to die in the sands. He won't be the last.
So, Jeremy, do you have the link to the character roller?
Yeah, I'm already on top of it,
Cool.
and I got a completely terrible fucking character. I rolled a thief with a 5 in dexterity.
Oh, ouch!
You know you can swap one
Yeah, you can
pair of
swap
stats
one.
around.
Dude, these stats are terrible. It's 12, 7, 12, 5, 7, 10. They're bad.
Okay. I'd probably put a 12 in dex, but yeah. Bad
Yeah,
luck.
I'll do that.
The other thing
Swapping
I was just gonna say
stats around. That's pussy
Yeah.
shit.
is you get one swap. Jeremy, because your last character died, your new one can have an inspiration.
What does that mean?
So you get to basically give yourself advantage on one roll.
Okay. Oh, I
Mm.
see.
Yeah.
Like the classic.
I'm just going to say that I pick up the rations and the rope and, all of that stuff.
The business.
Yeah, the business.
Now, so we'll do this immediately, just so that I can, get back to killing characters. So, as the snake lies dead, you hear footsteps as someone approaches through the tunnel behind you. You all sort of turn, ready for the next threat. And who do they see, Jeremy?
You see a like very small, wiry, almost. It looks like he's like maybe middle aged man. He's wearing a hood and cloak. And whenever he sees you guys, he looks surprised and starts to go back the other way that he came.
Kill him!
But his name is Kendrick. If you guys decide to ask.
Oh man, this is just going to be a never-ending cycle of you guys just killing every character.
Yes, exactly.
I'm gonna grab Kendrick by the scruff of the neck and kind of pull him back to us and sort of question why he's here. Because why would you be here?
So I mean, imagine you were probably just hired as well, or maybe there's probably like a notice on a notice board that's like, morons wanted to go kill rats, and you're like,
Well, if it was
You just
okay, I
can't do that.
figured I would have snuck down here to try to steal some of the food and rugs and stuff like that, and
oh
then
yeah,
found
awesome, love it.
yeah, he's like I was just checking the plumbing. That's what I was doing.
Sure.
I don't know how to respond to that.
How serendipitous it is that you've found us. Our warrior has just been killed. We could use another in our ranks.
Your
I'm
timing
not
is impeccable.
Not sure if I want to hang out with you guys. If you guys are dying, excuse me, I'll just be off.
I'm not sure that we were giving you a choice.
We're not
We
dying. He was the
We
one who
couldn't
was
turn
dying.
you in for thieving from the priests of Ash.
She Dawn points to her Ashkull symbol on her leather armor, which I'm assuming she has.
You know what? I was needing some help myself, so yeah, I'll go along with you guys.
Yes, come along, brave warrior. Fame and fortune awaits.
Yeah,
Fortune
just
and
have your
glory?
character's name in the chat there, Jeremy. Cheers.
Like Brian.
All right.
The other door that's in this chamber. Do I hear anything on the other side of it?
Not for a while, but if you wait long enough, you'll hear another pained wail.
Shall we continue if you're done looting the dead?
Can I just, speaking of that, because Jeremy's other character, whose name I've already forgotten, because he used all his armor points, is the shield he had now useless because the armor points have been spent?
No, the armor points. Well, I think actually, yeah, if all his armor points are used, then yeah, it is useless. But once you've had a short rest, they come back.
Oh, I'm still taking it then. Okay, cool.
So you continue on down the kind of labyrinthine tunnels, and they begin to sort of wind and bend. Let's just see. So you continue on, and you hear this rattling wail echo through, and you feel like you're walking backwards. You feel like you're walking the wrong way, and the tunnel lasts. It takes you 5 minutes of walking, and you could be anywhere. But then, mercifully, another door appears up ahead. It is hanging off its hinges, and kind of destroyed. And you see beyond more flickering light, and some what looks to be bookshelves up ahead. But there is very little, there's very little in the way as you kind of move towards this room. Like the door is basically not even a door anymore.
I know you are nothing but a simple conjurer, but is that door mystically locked as well?
I do not believe so, madam.
Timer grins.
Is there a breeze at all down here, Rob? Is there any air moving or?
No, there is actually no air moving. The air is like thick with this horrible kind of death smell, essentially, and so you feel almost like there's you opening that trap door is like the first fresh air that's entered there in years, potentially.
Okay, then.
So as you enter this room, which I'm presuming you do, you find it to be what looks to be an ancient library, mostly destroyed. You see old ruined books just lying all over the floor, and up on these kind of big bookshelves, but most of them are illegible, unreadable, or in some infernal script that you can't read, though there's maybe a couple that you can find. You see more pools of this huge stagnant water, or large pools of this stagnant water, kind of just sitting like slightly greenish. There's bits of like what look to be maybe algae or bacteria just kind of floating and coating the edges of them, as the flagstones under here are cracked, and those cracks are filled with water. You see on one of the bookshelves there's this like smashed glass case, and it's kind of large and looked to be maybe once very fancy, but now looks just destroyed. You see two doors leading off of, or three doors, sorry, leading out of this room. Two on the far wall straight ahead of you, north as you enter the room, and one to the west on your left as you enter.
Doesn't seem like you priests look after your scripture very well. He's like flicking through some dry, dusty book.
No one's been down here in how long was the last time the person was down here?
You don't know. As far as you know, this shouldn't exist.
As far as I know, this shouldn't exist.
If I like hold out a particularly evil-looking symbol, that doesn't look very much like your god.
I would agree with you.
Going on here.
Nobody tells me anything. He sort of grumbles and continues through the library.
You said that the big fancy case is broken into and it's empty?
Do you investigate?
I shall carefully, yes.
Okay. So you sort of move aside the broken glass, and you see there's what looks to be some kind of necklace or amulet in there. It's got a big old sapphire set in the center of it, and it's made of this silver chain with a big gold kind of inlay on the front, housing the sapphire.
Does it look religious?
No, it looks more old, fancy, palatial.
Is she doing this stealthily, or would I have noticed it?
Good question.
No, if everyone else is like around, like those two were over there talking about books and stuff, so it just would have been possibly Nerthal and Kendrick looking. So yeah, she would have been stealthy about it.
Okay.
I mean,
You guys were talking.
Yeah.
I
so you
mean, I
roll.
can talk and do other things at the same time.
I was just saying that's like what would have been informing her decision to do it stealthily is that
Okay.
there weren't as many people. Like if everybody was there, like
I mean,
looking
I've already
around.
known you guys are stealing everything that isn't nailed down, so
I mean, whatever, man. But I rolled a 2.
Beg your
On my
pardon. I've
dex.
stolen nothing.
Helped
you have
yourself.
finished
to
the
some.
wine and
This
bagged
wine
everything?
was illegally hoarded. I have merely,
Liberated it.
indeed.
I'm not sure the temple would agree with you, but
Kendrick,
It should be
Kendrick-
liberated to the people of the city, not to greedy conjurers.
And
Kendrick
perhaps
kind of-
the officials of the city should be made aware of all the things that your church is hoarding down here.
I agree with you.
giant dead fish particularly. I'm sure they'll be very interested.
Especially
Such
the giant
tasty.
fish.
Use
And
amulet.
Kendrick kind of butts in and he said, "You can't steal anything from a place that doesn't exist."
That is an interesting conundrum.
Kendrick, I did not realize you were a wise man.
Well, they're debating this. What did I get?
Well, the amulet sits amid broken glass, kind of looking dazzling and beautiful, untouched, it seems, by the ravages of time like the rest of this place.
Yeah, I said I already took it.
Okay. As
Stealthily.
soon as you touch it,
Mm-hmm.
this is going to be that kind of game.
Mm-hmm.
You put it on. You're not really sure why. And while you're wearing it, you get +1 int. However, your head begins to hurt so much. And it starts off slow, but it builds, and it's like this whining in your ears. And you know you have to read a book. You have to. Otherwise, your head's going to explode.
I'm gonna go over and grab the nearest book and start reading it then.
As
Too
soon as
bad
you
I'm
start,
just setting fire to the library.
as soon as you grab the book and start reading, it's like a drowning person finally getting their air. And your headache fades, the pain subsides as you read, and it's it's completely kind of over your head. It's talking about maybe the proper way to create a ritual circle, or maybe the various uses of giant snake venom. But it doesn't matter what you're reading, just as long as you're reading.
Is she reading it out loud in like a language that none of us understand, or?
No, she's just reading it.
But she
That's what I
can
was
read
gonna
it because we
ask.
couldn't read this library a moment ago.
He said
No,
some
it's-
of them we couldn't read.
I thought it was
said-
most, but okay.
Like my words were like, it's full of ruined, torn, rotting books, or books in an infernal script that you can't read, but maybe some of them you could read, I said. So if you want to start reading, you can, but you might not be able to find very much.
Are you okay there?
Yeah, I was gonna ask, does she look like she's visibly like wigging out, or
Yeah, she definitely looks a little bit weird. She's like frantically reading, and she's like turning the pages extremely fast. And she's kind of breathing very heavily, as though she's reading something that's the most fascinating thing in the world, and she can't believe her eyes.
and like Kendrick mumbles, but like almost like passive aggressively, like, "Oh great, like I really linked up with a great group here."
I mean, she's also wearing a huge gem around her neck that she wasn't a minute ago.
Pierce puts down the book he had, just steps away.
I'm gonna ask her if she's okay again.
Yeah, fine. Just let me finish this passage.
What do the rest of you do while she's seemingly engrossed?
Wait for her to finish her passage.
That's what I was gonna say.
She finishes, and then she turns the page and continues reading.
I lean over and you just sort of very loudly whisper to Dawn, I don't think she's okay.
Was she wearing that necklace before?
I don't think so, but she seems quite sneaky, so maybe she had it before.
Can I sense the magic in the necklace?
Yeah, you could. I'm not gonna make you roll. You're like, oh yeah, that's magic. 100%.
It is a cursed item. It seems to compel her to read.
I mean, I'm fine. I could stop anytime I want to. And she like shuts the book, and then like her brow furrows as like the headache starts to come back.
You shut the book. You take 1 point of damage.
Ow!
I'd like to try to take the edge of my bow and like thread the end of my bow under the necklace and take it off her head.
Okay.
Off her neck.
Would she let you?
Is she too engrossed in her
I was
book?
gonna say she's too busy reading.
She is.
I stopped reading actually, so I.
Okay. Then you can try and prevent him taking it off you if you want.
But if she's not reading, she's also drowning inside her
Yeah,
mind.
she's about to
so-
take another bit of damage in a second.
Yeah. Okay. She didn't notice. I rolled a 15, so yeah, go for it.
So yeah, you like unhook it off her, and just as she realizes, and suddenly your headache fades again.
Oh, okay. That's she like looks down and sees that the necklace is gone, and like looks up and sees it like hanging off of Kendrick's bow, and she just says, "Don't put that on. Don't touch it."
Oh, like your sticky fingers.
No, I'm trying to warn him. I
Trying to
So-
steal it.
Kendrick takes out a handkerchief and grabs the amulet with the handkerchief. Does it do the same thing?
No, you're fine.
The handkerchief starts furiously reading.
It gets a headache.
That's what happens when you start
So
putting your
yeah,
fingers places they don't belong.
I wrap it in a handkerchief and then throw it in my pocket.
Cool.
That's what happens when you start picking up stuff that doesn't belong to you. Eventually, it comes back to bite you.
I was just looking at it closely with
Your
my
fingers.
hands. Yes. How? I mean,
I like
it was
how you
covered in
guys
dust. It was covered in dust. I had to.
It seems we're gonna have to keep a closer eye on a lot of you.
Shh.
I agree.
Did you hear that?
Agreed.
Did you
What?
hear it? Whispers in the air. Spirits of the dead. They say you wronged them, Kendrick. They say they're coming for you here.
Spirit schmirit, you full shit.
Amazing.
Have it your way.
I grin widely at that. And then is there a way out of this?
Dawn sort of
Okay.
chuckles in her own face.
3 doors.
Excellent.
One to the
Northeast,
west and two to the north,
northwest.
you said?
Yeah, so northeast, northwest, and west.
It's good that someone in here is paying attention.
I'm gonna put my ear to all the doors and see if I can hear anything behind them.
Okay. Make me just a whiz test then. Quickly.
Just one for all three.
Yeah.
Don't fucking fail it. I fucking failed it.
Could
Okay.
I do a listen since that's what I had been doing
Sure.
at each door?
Sure.
I'll succeed with a 12.
Okay. In the west door, you hear nothing. In the northwest door, you hear what sounds like someone muttering, kind of feverishly, frantically, but you can't make out what they're saying. And in the northeast door, you hear slight clinking and rattling.
Well done. What do your ash-cool ears tell you?
I'll share with the others what I heard.
I was gonna say I didn't hear nothing.
Oh, sorry, it's the mask.
No worries, Ignatia. So we'll take a quick 5-minute break so we can bring Ignacio up to speed on what's happened, and then
Cool. I'll be back in a minute.
we'll return.
Excellent. Cool.
I'll also
So-
be back in a minute.
No worries. So basically, these morons have entered a temple, answering a call for poorly paid work to clear out some, to investigate and deal with some strange sounds coming from the temple basement. They found a trapdoor and they headed down and they found the giant corpse of an anglerfish, and like in the middle of the desert underground. And they found a giant snake which proceeded to kill in one turn, pretty much. Jeremy's character, Drellick. So Jeremy then created a new character. He's a thief who's turned up to rob the temple, but has kind of found his way down here. They've then kind of moved through the labyrinthine tunnels to this new room, which is a library with lots of ruined books in which there's a cursed amulet that forced the wearer to read or suffer a terrible headache. And they're now deciding which door to go through. So there's 3 doors out of this room, essentially. So what we'll do is we'll just say your character can be kind of behind one of these doors. So I'll let you know when to kind of introduce yourself.
Sounds great.
Awesome. All right, I'm just going to go get a drink quickly.
I have returned. The game may continue.
I mean, Rob's gone, so I mean, we're gonna be waiting a minute.
Oh, we don't need that loser.
Fuck you, man. I just returned for those 2 sentences. Oh, I'm so happy I killed someone. I just wanted one person to die, minimum.
I have a strange feeling it's gonna be a few more.
Indeed.
It's okay, because the next character I have, you're gonna hate killing.
Oh, yeah?
His name's Rob Barker. No, I'm joking.
I can't believe that Morgan Grover joke went over your head. Ian.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't, for whatever reason, it didn't register until after you typed it in chat.
I mean, a bald...
In fairness, I had a really bad headache when we first started this game, but it's passed now.
You need to stop wearing random amulets you find.
That's where all the fun is.
I just came from running Call of Cthulhu until after 5 o'clock this morning, and then not getting very much sleep and not drinking enough water.
Yeah. This is me coming off like a 2-day hangover. And then I went to a barbecue today, and I met like 3 people who I was apparently drinking with on Friday night, but I don't remember. And they were like, "Hey, how you doing? How you doing?" I was like, "Oh, it's you guys. Yeah, great." I had no idea who they were. So yeah, that's been my weekend. I'm just glad I got tomorrow off as well.
I'm back.
No, you're done.
That's true. I've also returned.
That was the best. That was the best response.
Sounds like you have a small problem there, Rob.
A small
Leave his
problem.
penis alone.
You didn't drink enough. Forget the entire weekend.
No, well, I mean, I stopped drinking, Saturday morning. But yeah, man. Apparently it was,
I'm back.
it was the sort of thing. It was like, "Hey, it's Rob. How you doing?" And I was like, yeah, great. How are you guys doing?" They were like, "Oh yeah, I saw you in the pub on Friday night. It's cool." I was like, Jesus Christ. But,
Don't you live on a tiny island? Don't you already know everybody?
60,000 people. It is tiny, but it's not like there's 10 of us.
That would be incestuous.
Yeah, there's like 12. That was the same class that you went to school with, the same people you're drinking with.
I mean,
that's that generation of.
Yeah. I didn't go to school with these people though, or anyone on this island. Though. I've only been here 3 years. All right, I think everyone's here.
I think so.
Well, if they're not, then we'll miss. So, which of these 3 doors do you people feel like going through?
I told them what I heard on each one.
Yeah.
So it was clanking on
I don't
one.
want to go through any of these doors.
Clanking on the northeast, muttering on the northwest, and silence on the west.
Okay.
Silence is better than. I was gonna say it's better than nothing, but it is nothing. So
I agree. Don't choose that door.
Nonsense. We should see what the muttering is first. You don't want someone sneaking up behind us, do you?
that's a fair point.
Excellent choice. Choose that door.
I'll follow your lead, Dawn.
I'm following Nerthal's lead. He picked the door.
He is but a simple conjurer. Someone else should try the door.
Oh, that's a great impression, Tamia.
I am not simple. I am frail. There's a difference.
Oh, you're right. My apologies.
Am I able to
Amazing.
ram like a small bookcase into this door and just bust it off its hinges?
Yeah.
Oh,
Sure.
I want to do that.
Make a strength test.
I shall.
I give him a hand.
I have terrible strength, and I actually passed that. That's remarkable.
All right. Smash open the door.
Straight into the muttering room.
To the muttering room.
Straight into the muttering person, and they're dead.
Hopefully.
So there are. This room is littered with cages, like animal cages and bird cages. And in one such cage, which is maybe larger than all the others, you see a person lying on the floor. And Ignacio, if you'd like to describe who that person is.
So I imagine that I'm conscious.
Yeah, sure. Up to you.
So you would see what looks like at first it just looks like a dark shape, like a it doesn't really look like a person, but as you get closer, you would see that it's like a short person and completely covered in dark gray tattered robes, and you would see like that the head is covered, but you can barely make out the face, and it is a very, very, very old woman that seems to be at first seems to be sleeping peacefully, but then you would hear Who goes there?
I imagine Dawn thought it was a dead woman and was going to go give her last rites, and she's just come up like, oh, Jesus! Or the equivalent.
So, yeah, I imagine whoever this woman is, she found herself, like, a bag was thrown over her head one night while she was walking home, and she was grabbed and dragged and has no idea where she is. Just for your information, mate.
I get so you see the figure like rise up, and the legs are still on the floor, but now it's like an L shape, and the torso is upright, and she pulls from her clothes like this wine skin, uncorks it with and takes a big swig, like bigger than a woman her size and age should be drinking, and then goes like, "Wow, it's nice to have some company here. All I had were the other animals and then the wineskin. And it's starting to get quite empty, I think. Yes. Not a lot to share, I'm afraid. Perhaps you could get me out of this cage? Yes, I didn't do anything wrong. I just found myself here by some twist of fate.
So,
I find that hard to believe.
The other thing you would know is that there is like an annex room to this one, and that's where the muttering's coming from, and you can still hear it. It sounds like a man just sort of whimpering and muttering.
Well, grandmother, I don't know how long you've been down here, but hopefully we can get you out. Like, he's like looking at the log. Are there keys anywhere, or does it look like he could smash it? Is it
You can't
eroded?
see any keys, but it's not. Yeah, it's pretty old.
Can I go over and try
I'll
to...
have you know, young man, I was never blessed with children, let alone grandchildren. I am but an old maid.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I need you to so I can hear the tumblers.
I'm not.
I take Kendrick aside and say, do we really want to help this woman just because she says so?
I don't even really want to be here.
Dawn just shrugs.
We can all help each other, yes? And, I was exaggerating about how little wine there was in here. There's really quite a bit.
Can't say yes, and I can't hear the tumblers over your incessant rattling. Hush, woman.
And how would you help us?
The impertinence of the young. Well, I am, some would say that I am practiced in the magical arts, but of course, out in the open, I would never admit to such things, but here we're looking at a trade. Yes, I do have the wine, and I know how to do a few things. I'm not as frail as I look. You'll see.
Maybe if you just threaten her, she'll definitely just help.
Shut up, Kendrick.
I mean, I think she was eager to help anyway.
I will.
I'm trying to pick the locks on her key.
I know.
This
I'm
muttering
grinning
is
at you and purposely continuing the conversation.
Yeah, this muttering from the other room is continuing, just like this echoing voice, just kind of, no, he's not. Just like you can't make out words, but someone.
If I listen closely to the door, could I try and make out words?
There is no door. It's just an annex. So
It's just like a hole in the. Okay.
Yeah.
And Taima is like currently like glaring at everyone as she like pulls out her thieves' tools, and it's like every time they start talking, she'll like put them down, just kind of like she's just like waiting for everyone to stop talking so that she can concentrate.
Typo cannon.
What?
I said I like how you made your typo cannon.
Yeah. It actually was like the name I came up with. I just introduced myself wrong.
Nice. So yeah, you can make a check to pick the lock if you want.
All right. 2.
Cool. Swings open.
She like opens the door with like a flourish and does like a over the top dramatic bow.
What are you doing?
Thank you, young lady. You're skilled. It is not just that sharp tongue that you have. Very good. You shall be a great help. You've already been a great help. Here, please help me up. And like this scraggly, like bony, like hand full of warts reaches towards you.
And she'll still kind of like adjust the bow so that she's holding out the hand to help the woman up. Is like, as long as you don't pinch my cheeks.
Well, feels good now to be upright. I feel taller now, and you see like this huge curve to her back, and she's still quite short. It was
What's your
very.
name?
You may call me Yaknung. Here, would you like some wine? I'm afraid I had quite a bit of it.
I can tell. No, I'm all right, thank you. Could you put that name in the chat, Ignacio?
Yeah, I was going to say, we're
Yep.
going to need that one in the chat.
You said it, and I'm like, oh, geez.
Yaknung.
Was that her name? I thought she threw up a little.
And so, anyone going to check out the muttering?
Oh, jeez. Sorry, I
Wasn't
just
Dawn
thought spelling.
doing that?
Thank you for the phonetics.
Fucking hell.
So anyone in the who's going to check out the muttering would kind of peer around the corner maybe, and you would see a filthy looking man, old, not quite as old as Yaknung, but still elderly, and he's just in these like filthy rags, and he's just sitting like in the corner in a cage, just like kind of touching his fingers to each other and whispering and muttering. You see like immediately as you turn, there's like keys hanging on a hook in here, and he's just like kind of touching his fingers and his hands and staring up, and he doesn't immediately notice you.
A friend of yours, Yaknum?
Not exactly, but he's been keeping me up with his incessant muttering and chattering and yakking. And Yaknung would slowly like approach him, and when she's like about like 1 or 2 meters away, she would say, "Well, young man, what seems to be the problem? You seem to have been having trouble sleeping yourself. Would you like some wine?"
And he sort of like jumps as you approach and rushes to the side of the cage and like reaches through to try and grab you. And he's just, Jesseline, Jesseline, and he like tries to grab you.
So
Does
I
that-
say,
Does that word have any significance?
It sounds like a
sounds
name.
like a woman's name to me. Perhaps this poor fool is lovesick. Are you lovesick, dear? I have a remedy for that.
And he's just going to repeat the name and try and grab for you.
So I would actually like extend. I would stay out of reach, but I would extend my left hand and let him grab it.
Okay, and he grabs it and he like really hard tries to pull you like against the cage. Make a strength test quickly for me.
All right, what
You
am I
can have
trying to beat?
advantage. Whatever your strength is.
Oh, my own strength. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So under, right? Not equal, just under.
Just under.
Okay. That is a fail.
Okay, so yeah, he grabs you and like slams you against the cage. You won't take damage, but it hurts, and he's just like holding you, and he gets his face like through the bars, like right up to yours, and he just continues to mutter that name like right into your face. Where did you go, Jesseline? Where did you go?
Can I
Does it
cast a
say-
spell?
Yeah, you can.
So do they go off automatically, or is there a roll?
I believe I'm not sure. Actually, I need to double check. That.
You do. I will tell you now. You do only have one spell.
Yeah.
No, I'm perfectly aware of that. But
Okay.
I think Yaknum would cast it.
Yeah. So yeah,
You only have one spell.
Yeah.
I'm level 1.
Oh yeah, but we we house
No, you
rules.
have two.
You can have 2 spells. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
sorry.
cool.
Sorcerers have 2, clerics have 1.
Yeah, but clerics should have 0 and sorcerers should have 1. But we're like
Got you. Okay.
Yeah. we're
Apologies.
house ruling it, so you got an extra 1 basically. So yeah, you got to test your int to cast the spell.
Okay, let's see about that. My int is a little bit better.
Does he get advantage on the roll?
No. Yes.
Okay.
No. He doesn't. Sorry.
I don't. Okay. It goes off. 13 under 14.
Cool.
So what Yaknung does is that the other hand, the right hand, it like just goes up to this man, goes between the bars and touches the man's forehead and says, "You poor thing, you are lovesick. I have just the thing for that. Yes, I have just the remedy for that. I've used it many, many times on young and old and man and women, even people who had fallen in love with things that they should not have. Oh, those poor unfortunate souls." And I cast Charm on him.
Awesome. So, charm. Yeah. Okay. So he's got to obey your commands. What would you like him to do?
Please, young man, I think it is now time to release me, so that I may help you better. Yes?
He nods and lets go.
This young man is now under my auspices. Tell us, young man, who is this woman that you speak of?
Jocelyn, my wife.
Good. And how is it that you came to find yourself in this place?
I don't remember.
When did you last see your wife?
And he like kind of looks around as if trying to find some indicator as to what time it is. I don't know.
All right, well,
He was
there are
in here when
keys.
you got here.
Okay, well, so you've been here for a couple days already. No matter. Please stand back. My friends here, they don't trust you yet because we've just met. You understand? Take a few steps back and we will open this door, yes? And I look back at my other companions.
Dawn has her hammer drawn, but she does as she's asked.
So you guys do have a set of keys as well, hanging off the wall.
I'll go and unlock it.
Cool. Yeah. Takes a second to find the right key, but it's easy. The door opens and he just stands there dumb.
Now, you will come with us, yes? And you will give us any information that you might have. I know you've been here for a while, but perhaps you remember a little of how you were brought here. If we find your wife, then we shall get her for you, yes? But you shall be a good boy and follow me for now, and don't harm anybody unless I tell you to, yes?
He nods again and like kind of stupidly just steps out of the cage, like following behind.
Excellent. Now I believe we shall have no trouble from this man.
You better be right, crone.
Oh, don't you worry. My magic has withstood the test of time.
Taima is now very nervous about what she let out of that cage and is gonna hang back with some of the others.
Dawn actually now trusts her more because she's seen how powerful her magic is, and she's like, okay, this woman might actually be useful after all. And she seems to care for people who she's literally just met.
Anyone behind this man would see that like the back waistband of his trousers is poking like a piece of what looks to be just some kind of metal, like a flat piece of metal.
What's that you got there?
What is that in your trousers?
He would ignore you, I think, because he's under the charm.
I will ask you that you please answer the questions of my companions at this time.
Okay. So he slowly pulls out this piece of metal, and it's like a triangular shard that he's sharpened against the rocks at the back of his cage. Basically fashioned into like a really crude dagger.
What's that for?
It's Probably what would have gone into the old lady's throat had she not taken his willpower from him.
Nonsense. If he wanted to kill her, she'd already be dead before she even cast her charm spell.
You do not know the heart like I do. This man was lovesick. He wanted to find his woman above all else. I knew his heart when I looked in his eyes.
If anything, I'm sure he intended it for his captors should they return for him.
See, that's more like it. That's some sense. See, when you think things twice instead of once before you speak, you sound smarter.
You see,
Papa narrows her eyes.
Dawn sort of chuckles to herself.
you see in the corner of the room opposite the cage is a small desk, like a table covered in rotten food. But in amongst it is this kind of stand that looks to be sort of two forks, and they hold this beautiful, like ornate black dagger with like black steel sort of blade, and it just sits kind of alluringly on the table, point facing the wood of the table, which is mostly rotted and uneven and only has 3 legs.
So we're going
Dawn
to touch
gonna
it, or
keep
we're
a
going to put it in the sack?
I was going to say Dawn's going to keep a close eye on all of her companions.
If no one else goes for it, I'll take out a piece of cloth, learning my lesson from the necklace, and drop it into my pack.
Cool.
Are you sure you want to take that chance?
I was just going to say if I could detect whether or not it was magical, but that's okay.
I mean, you can go ahead and do that as she's doing it.
Yeah, sure. Make an int test.
No, I failed. I rolled a 15 and a 17.
Doesn't
It's
look like-
harmless.
I mean, besides the fact it's a dagger.
Can I try the keys on everything and anything in this room and see
Yeah.
if they all correspond to cages, or if there's any that
I
don't
mean, there's like
correspond?
4 4 keys and like 50 cages.
Oh. I didn't realize there were quite that many.
Yeah, it's like piles of cages.
What
I'm
else
gonna-
is there in the cages? Just animals, or are there any
Uh,
other more people?
There's pretty much nothing in the cages. Most of them are empty. There's a few corpses, but there's nothing else alive in this room.
I'm
If
going
I
to
use the
ask.
same key that I unlocked that guy from that cage, does it work with all, the other cages in this main room?
It works with a few of them, like some of them have the same lock, but not all of them. But I mean, you reckon if you went around every lock, like they'd all have one key that fits them.
Okay, I was wondering if some of the keys were for somewhere else. But okay.
All right, Ignacio, just test your wisdom again. He gets a save every round, so
Wisdom, okay. Yeah, so then, if it fails, does that mean the thing is over?
yeah, I think so.
Okay, the spell is now over.
Excellent. So he, like you kind of, I imagine you feel the connection drop for a second,
Yep.
and he says, "Asha, is that you?" And I don't know. Would you guys have taken his little shiv?
Don't think
I
we have.
didn't take it.
I mean, I wanted to, but it was under magical control, and it didn't seem priority to other people.
Excellent.
And I'm in the other room, so
The man deserves the right to defend himself.
Awesome.
The one thing I would have done when I saw the connection being severed was just turn so that I was facing him. That's all.
Yeah. And he's gonna try and stick the shiv in you. So
he
roll
just-
me a. He's gonna
Sorry,
stab you.
Did you say Asha this time?
Yeah, he said a different name.
Okay.
Asha.
Double check that.
So
But he's trying to stab me, right?
Yeah. So that's you roll a strength test because he's attacking you with melee, and it's going to be at disadvantage because he's a berserker.
Okay,
So,
try to roll under my strength with disadvantage.
yeah.
Okay.
So roll twice. You have to take
So
that.
the first one succeeds. Yep, I fail.
Okay. Then he just sticks it, or basically like leaps forward and just screams and just wildly like slashes, stabbing the dagger into you. It's only a D4 he does though. Okay, there's going to be 3 points of damage as this rusted piece of metal just embeds itself like in your gut.
Okay. Do we roll initiative now?
Yes. So everyone test Dex. Tell me if you fail or succeed.
Fail.
I fail.
Fail.
Succeed.
Fail.
C's currently
Oh,
AF.
Corinne was AFK, yeah.
Yeah.
Ask.
Actually, can we see her stats? What does she got, a 13 dex?
Yeah.
Can't read that. Want me to roll for her?
Sure.
She passed.
Nice.
Now we definitely have to wait for her to get back.
What happened?
You passed on initiative.
The spell ended and the crazed man stabbed the old woman with his shiv.
You mean like I said he was going to?
Yeah, I'm in the other room. It's me and you who have rolled before him, and I'm in the other room fiddling with cages.
Oh, nice.
This is
Okay.
why you should read the spell descriptions if you're playing a magic user. I mean, I didn't know if that was permanent, but I thought it was going to last longer than that for sure.
Yeah, no, he just gets a save every round, but I like let it go on a bit because it felt like a dick to just do it every like 6 seconds.
Right. So it's
Pierce.
combat. Okay.
Yeah. Do you want me to go first? Or
Yes, please, just so I can get a
Sure.
set of what's going on.
Yeah,
so
Robbie,
I
you just
heard-
alerted us to a false sense of security and then stabbed him in the back. That's not a dick move at all.
Exactly.
I hear the blood curdling
Sense of
scream.
security, that's what you call a dungeon.
Yeah, so I imagine you guys are sort of back in the big room, and he's just basically like grabbing your new friend Yaknon, and like just trying to drive the shift deeper, and then just screaming different names.
So I'm kind of further back, I think, and I just sort of hearing the blood curdling scream and stuff. I just sigh, leave the keys in whatever lock they are, and just swing like the bow off my shoulder and load an arrow, and then just fire it into the dude and go, "Well, this has been an interesting diversion." I hit. The arrows don't lower or run out, and I did 7 damage.
7 damage. Okay. So he
Right.
like coughs and like steps off her slightly and blinks. He looks pretty rough.
Okay, and since like he just stepped off of the guy and he's got, or off of Yaknung, and he's got like, the arrow like stuck in, I'm gonna say his clavicle or whatever. Taima's gonna come up from behind and kind of slash her sword across his belly.
Sure.
And gonna hit with a 3. And that's gonna be 11 points of damage.
All right. Describe how you kill him.
Yeah, so I guess she'd been kind of expecting the guy to turn on the old lady ever since, like, we saw the shiv. And so it's like, as it happened, she might have been a little bit too late to stop the dagger from going in, but she was definitely prepared to put the guy down once it happened. And she just kind of steps up behind him and guts him.
And he like looks up at you, turns and like looks up at you and just says, "Why, Dinad? Why?" And then just collapses.
Is Yaknan up, or is
So I'm up and with this bony gnarled hand, I'm kind of clutching my chest where I got stabbed.
Don't worry, I'm still here. As I said, my magic withstands the test of time. I'm sorry about this man. It seemed he just had too much love in him, and she just couldn't keep it in. Had to try to share with all of us.
He loved many women at once.
Looks like he stuck his love right in you.
That's disgusting.
I'm sure that's what the problem was. Too much love.
How about the next time we find a burbling mad stranger, we don't try and adopt him?
Now all of his love is on the
What?
floor.
Are you
along with
referring
his
to the old
innards.
lady or Kendrick?
He kind
We
of
did all
just
agree
shrugs.
on releasing him.
And he's going to walk out to go look at the other doors.
I'm gonna search the guy to see if he has anything besides the shiv.
Got a shiv.
Shivs and dirty trousers.
Yeah, just a shiv.
I'm going to use my very limited healing knowledge to wrap up Yaknan's wound.
Okay.
Because, of course, the spell I rolled is probably not going to help us very much in this dungeon.
Excellent. Yeah, I mean, there's not much you can do, but you kind of bind the wound. To stop it bleeding out, maybe.
Yeah, it's fine.
All right. But apart from
Thank you.
this room
That's
seems
very
to be a dead
helpful.
end.
That's very, very helpful. You have a good hand. You could be a healer like me. Perhaps you'll live as long as I have.
That was the plan, but it seems like I won't be staying at this temple for much longer if we make it out of here alive.
Ah, have a little hope. They say hope is for the young. I guess not.
It's a very long story, which I'll tell you when we get out of here alive. And she follows after Pierce.
It couldn't be that long. You're too young for that.
And I would hobble after.
Yeah. So I mean, the room is a dead end from here. So you sort of head back into the library.
Mhm.
Unsure of where else to go. There's two other doors. There's the west door that was silent, and the northwest door that was clanking and rattling.
Go to that door, I guess. Yeah.
Sure. Bow drawn.
Hammer out.
And Taima will go to the door and check to see if it's locked, giving Pierce clear line of sight on anything on the other side of the door.
The door is locked.
Oh, well then I will get down on one knee and look for traps before I attempt to lockpick it.
All right, make a wisdom check.
But we're going to try and marry the door.
No, yeah. You've made me very, very happy. Oh, portal. That's a 2 on my wisdom.
Okay. Yeah, there's a trap just above the lock. It looks like a little poison dart will jump out and like spike the hand of whoever tries to open it.
And from Thieves' Tools, I'm going to like get out like a little piece of like gummy like paste or whatever, and I'm going to put it over like the little hole where like the pin will come through, and then try to disarm it.
Go for it.
Veronica Salt up in here.
That'll be 10 under my dex. 14.
Cool.
Yeah,
All right,
success.
so I'll say that's enough to open the trap and or beat the trap and open the door without any worries.
And then
the door like clicks open, and the room beyond is pretty dark.
Can I grab I'm going to grab the little gum thing that I used to like block the pen, and then can I retrieve the poison dart?
Sure. Yeah, why not? Make another dex check.
No, and I try to get at it. I snap it and make it unusable.
Cool. The poison just drips down the side of the door harmlessly.
Harmless to us, anyway.
Yeah. The door's probably like super poisoned.
Them termites are gonna all die now.
Yeah. So you enter this room, and you see that you're kind of on this platform, and below you are these 3 large dirt pits. You get this kind of smell of dung, and you see kind of dark, vague shapes that's very hard to make out. The pits are like 10 foot wide, 20 foot deep, and you basically can't see the bottom. They're so dark. But you do hear like clanking, rattling sounds coming from below. Is everyone entering, or are people hanging back? What's happening?
Is it a room just full of pits, like no entry?
There's
no
3
egress?
pits, and what looks to be a door on the far side of the pits.
Why don't we just try the other door?
The silent door?
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Okay. I'm gonna slowly close that door.
Should think.
How far across were the pits? You know, if I like put a bookcase across them.
Yeah, you
would it
could,
act as a
probably
bridge?
make a bridge.
Okay. We're going to try the other door anyway, but I'm just curious.
10 foot wide is what
Yeah,
he said.
10 foot wide, 20 foot deep. So the other door, you can go to, like, you go and the door's not locked, and you open it, and you just see this sort of long corridor stretching up before you.
Any twists and turns or doors at the end of the corridor?
Yeah. Turns left up ahead.
Can we hear anything? Or can I hear anything?
Make a whiz check.
I will do the same.
Because it's a 2 again.
Okay, you
I
do
also
hear
passed.
something this time. You hear like a slight kind of rustling noise that only happens for a second and then goes. There's something moving in here.
I'll kind of signal that to the others somehow.
There's a slight rustling noise.
Yeah, or just kind of like, make an alert hand signal, like be on alert hand signal. And continue to creep down the corridor.
Okay.
As you make the be on alert hand signal, Yakin produces this walking cane from her clothing, and just leaning on it, she hobbles forward, taking the rear.
Nice. So you round the corner, and
I'm gonna peek behind it.
Okay.
Okay.
You peer around the corner, and you see a door up ahead. And there's a torch, another one of these magic torches floating above it, or sitting in a sconce above it.
Mm-hmm.
The torches, by the way, Ignacio, are they don't emit heat or smoke, but they emit this bluish red flame.
Going to go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, but you do see like a dark shape, kind of sitting in the middle of the floor, like in between the door and you.
So definitely a shape in the middle of the hallway.
Yeah, it's quite hard to make out though. It's like maybe 30 feet away from you.
I'll throw a torch at it.
Okay.
I can spare one of these magical torches.
Your torch sails through the air and lands right next to it, and you see immediately this horrific creature, like this kind of like screeching noise and scuttle away. It looked like some kind of insect.
Can I attempt to shoot at it before it gets away?
Yeah, sure.
I was going to ask a similar question.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, hit.
You have to add +1 to all your attacks, though.
Okay. I still hit.
Cool.
Having 15 dex has done me well so far. 7 damage.
7 damage.
And the arrows have run out.
Does it die?
It does not.
Okay. How does magic missile work? Like mechanically speaking, I mean,
it should be
in
on
this
that
game.
page, I think.
It looks like it
not
hits
one
automatically and does 1d4.
Does 1d4? Jesus Christ.
It's still an automatic hit, though.
Yeah, so Nerthal
Per level
starts
get strong.
Nerthal starts speaking words, sounds like backmasking on a tape. And he waves his hands around, and like red sand kind of gathers up around his hands and then shoots out and forms into glass and hits the creature for 4 points of damage.
Nice.
Exactly. Oh, you know the spell.
So yeah, this thing like screeches again and turns and begins scuttling towards you back. As it kind of comes back towards the torch, it looks like a giant ant and scuttles up onto the wall and then onto the ceiling. We'll roll initiative though.
Hey, I passed.
Ooh,
Crit.
I got a 6.
Critting initiative do anything?
You get to go
Yes,
twice.
Kendrick fails.
Well, I failed because I did equal instead of under. I had the lowest dex ever.
You rolled, to be fair.
Nerthal, Pierce, Who else passed?
I know.
Timer. Anyone else?
Don't think so.
Cool. All right. Well, you guys are up first.
Cool.
How high is the ceiling?
The ceiling is about 10 foot high.
So I could hit it with my staff then.
You could.
I will attempt to. I will not.
It just kind of scuttles out of your reach.
But I
Yeah,
hit
it's-
it with.
it's hard.
Sorry. Burp, burp, burp.
No, please go ahead.
Could I hit it with my sword?
Yeah, you can try.
Okay. Does it count as being behind it since it's up on the ceiling and it's like
Oh, Jesus Christ.
No.
no, okay.
Wow.
I mean, it's its back. I mean, but it's still that's okay. I got
This is what happens when you have players who play too much 5e.
Yeah.
That's a 10, so I still succeed.
Cool.
I just don't get my extra damage, so that's a 2. And then I'm going to back away.
What a surprise. Pierce.
I mean,
I will shoot it.
Which, by the way, I hope you came up with the name Pierce before you decided to use a bow.
No, I actually rolled this fighter and it had the name Pierce and had a bow, and I was like, that's what I wanted. You know, I rolled that really strong other fighter. I was like, what I really want is a bow fighter, and then I rolled one. So I used his name. I hit again. Arrows don't run out. I do 4 damage.
Okay. It is still just alive. And it scuttles back down. And
I'm also far back, by the way. Oh, I have backed up.
how convenient.
Yep.
It is going to lunge at Dawn. So defense test, please. Strength +1.
I rolled a 20.
Nice.
Not for me, it's not.
So that's going to mean you have to make a Constitution test. Take 5 points of damage from the bite.
I love how everything in this damn basement is trying to kill the like the religious person.
Is it poison or paralysis?
It is poison.
Okay, that's fine. I mean to get advantage. I still failed.
Excellent. Okay, that's going to be another 6 damage then.
Dawn goes down.
Dope. So this giant ant just like lunges and just begins gnawing on it, and you see this like white kind of acidic venom just dripping out of its mouth, like as it just injects itself into Dawn.
That's fucking disgusting.
Awesome. Okay, everyone else, it's your go.
All
I've
right.
also now demonetized this on YouTube.
No sexual content allowed.
So you guys mind if I go then? I don't know if anybody else failed initiative.
I did, but I'm fucking dying, so you're free to go,
Right,
pal.
okay. So Yakna grips her staff, and her very very curved back. She kind of hinges at the waist, and goes back, and you hear from behind you like this horrible noise, like. And she spits at this giant ant, which is her way of casting magic missile.
Oh my god, amazing.
Like this horrible like mass of like spit like misses all of you by mere inches and hits for 3 damage.
Okay. The ant dies. It's
So as it hits it, it like corrodes and it just like crumples to the floor. Its legs flailing all over.
yeah, its legs flail and then just curl up. Right, Liam, roll me that d6. Don't get a 6.
I got a
You-
5.
oh,
Ooh.
Okay, you are disfigured. You
Fine,
can choose what that looks like, but you've got your charisma is now 4.
I imagine I look a bit like Two-Face now.
Awesome.
Like half my face is like melting away.
Oh.
I was gonna say that's appropriate considering you got like melted by acidic venom.
Definitely. Furthermore, I'll let you use your hit die to heal. but that's your one for the day.
I would try and help with, basic medicine or something and
Cool.
help her back to her feet.
Yeah. All right.
Oh yes, it was said.
So you
Still
heal
kicking.
up. You guys take a breather. Just for the moment.
Was it long enough to get armor points back or no?
Sure. If you want to take a short rest, you can.
I look at my other party members to see if they want to also take a short rest.
Yeah, go for it. Can I spend the time with some sort of animal carving dagger and sort of try pop some armor plates off this ant or something, or get something of use? Harvest a gland or two.
Yeah, go for it. Make a check of some kind.
Thanks. I'll just roll a dice. That's a 4.
I love
So I
that.
think whichever stat you choose, I pass.
Okay, charisma.
Even charisma.
You tell it a story to.
You convince the ant to relinquish its its venom sacs, shall we
Sweet.
say? So, yeah.
To be fair, with that roll, even if it was charisma, Dawn would have still passed it.
Charisma is 4.
It's not equal. You have to do
Yeah.
under. I'm afraid, Dawn.
I've got 9 minus 4 charisma would be 5. So
No,
I don't-
it's set
No,
to
it's set to
4.
four.
Charisma is 4.
Oh, is it set to 4? Oh
Yes.
shit. Okay.
You are
That's not so
horribly, horribly,
Your charisma is
horribly
not as bad as my dex.
mutilated.
That's fine.
So, Kendrick, while he's taking the plates off the ant and the other people are kind of resting, I'd like to silently sneak away.
Go for it.
What Yaknu would do is walk like hobble slowly up to Dawn, like with her walking stick now going tick 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 with each step, and then she would put like this knobby, bony, old withered hand on your shoulder and say,
Now don't you worry, dear. There are many, many men out there who value charms other than the merely physical. I didn't do that bad with men when I was your age, and I was not that pretty.
and then she goes into a long and convoluted story.
Dawn's just not listening whatsoever because she's still kind of in shock.
Yeah, definitely. Sure. Make a dex test then. Stealth test for.
It is a pass. I rolled at advantage
Nice.
because moving silently or whatever. So I passed with a 2.
Okay, so where are you going? Are you just leaving?
Yeah, I wanna I wanna try to get away from these guys now. Now that they're like,
Yeah, you do. Are you going back the way you came, or are you going forward?
well, I guess the question is, here I'll see if I'll decide whether or not I know the way back. Hold on. I don't. I haven't been paying attention, so I'm gonna go to the room with the pits.
Okay.
He wants so badly to get away from us. He's just gonna wander through the fucking labyrinth.
All right. So, I'm not. I already killed one character, but what the hell? You enter the room, and because you're alone, the doors suddenly snap closed behind you, and this big red kind of pentagram-based symbol appears on them, kind of magically sealing it. The rattling sound in the pits below grows louder as you see 6 skeletons begin crawling their way up the sides of the pits, carrying bows and swords.
I'm sure glad we didn't go to that pit room, Like, this corridor is much easier.
That was a good call there, Pierce.
Yeah. Thank you. Want a bit of ant meat?
Sure. Yes.
So Kendrick,
yes.
let's have some initiative.
Nice protein.
All right. I passed initiative. All right, it's a success. So I'm first.
Yeah. Go for it. What do you do?
So like initially, kind of like bangs on the door with the pentagram. He's like, I should have fucking paid attention which way we came.
Okay, you touch the door. You take 1 damage.
All right.
As like you feel it like burn you.
And then I'd like to try to like run across the room to the other door.
Okay. Make me a dex test.
All right. Fail.
Okay. So you run. You like try and sort of skirt around the pit, and you fall. You're only going to take 4 points of damage as you land, and the skeletons will stop climbing up and start climbing back down. Well, all the ones in one pit. I guess the rest keep climbing to try and get down into that pit. You're at the bottom of this pit.
How much damage did I take again? You cut out it.
Sorry, you took 4.
Okay.
And you're basically at the bottom of this pit, and there's tons of bones everywhere.
And then they're trying to scuttle back. Like some of them are scuttling back down into the pit.
Yeah, so they're all coming for you basically, but they're very slow.
Is it like a thick layer of bones in the?
Yeah, pretty thick.
Damn, hold on.
This is amazing.
So, like Kendrick like yells out, he's like, what does he say? He says, "Hey guys," and I'm sure they don't hear anything.
I failed my wisdom.
This ant meat is really nice.
No, it's good protein.
I rolled a 20 on my wisdom, so I guess
Jackman takes another swig from
my
her
ears
wine
burned
skin.
away.
Have you guys? The other question is, I guess, have you guys even noticed that
You snuck away and you passed.
Yeah.
So
Jackman just rolled a 2 on her usage dice, so she's not. She's got no more wine
I don't
left.
think I would even care.
Oh dear, it seems I'm out of wine
If a pile
completely.
of bones and dust and stuff like that is thick enough, then I'd like to try to dive in the pile of bones and hide.
Sure. All right, make me another dex test.
Pass.
All
Oh
right.
wait, nope. Sorry, I read it as a 7. It's a 17. Fail.
Oh. So you're like scuttling around. You're trying to get below, but you make an absolute racket, and these skeletons just jump down beside you.
I like the idea that he dived into the pile of bones, but then it's like he clonks against the rock that was hidden underneath.
Yeah, exactly. So there's 2 skeletons down here at the moment. And one of them has a bow, one of them has a sword, and they're both going to go for you. So I need 1 strength test, 1 dex test, please.
Both fails.
Okay. You take 4 points of damage from the sword and 1 point of damage from the bow.
All right, still kicking.
Hot damn, dude.
All right. You said it's back on me?
Yeah.
I'd like to try to climb out after I realize that the hiding under the bones isn't working.
Sure, go for it. So you just like scrabble away. You can definitely climb out. I'm going to say it's mundane because the skeletons can climb out and they have like no strength. So you can climb back to the top.
And then if I still have any movement, then I'd like to try to get to the door across the way.
Okay. Yeah, you can do that. And you can like open the door and move through and slam it behind you.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's what I do.
Cool. So we're going to pause with you there and flash back to the rest of the group. Just quickly, so we're not taking up too much time with them.
Wow, I'm hearing a lot less complaining now.
So, you guys, you kind of finish your rest and you realize all of a sudden that Kendrick's not with you anymore.
I immediately check to make sure all my belongings are still in place.
Yeah, I check for the dagger.
They are.
Yeah, then I just go back to resting.
During all that time, whenever we were chowing down on ant meat, did we hear anything on the other side of the door that we're in front of?
You did not.
Okay. Well, if everyone else looks ready, I'll go up and inspect it.
Yeah, I'm not going to go chasing after people who don't want to stick with the group, so go ahead.
Yeah, either he's gone or he's gone, so not much we can do about it. I'm going to,
He didn't seem too entranced in our endeavors anyway.
I'm going to do a listen and succeed.
Okay, you hear nothing.
Okay, and then I'm going to check for traps and things on the door.
Okay. Roll me that test.
That would be another success with a 9.
There are no traps, and the door is open.
Sweet. I shall open the door.
Okay. So, entering the room, you find yourself in this. It's a small square room. There's no door out. The walls are dark mirrors, and so there's it looks very strange that there's hundreds of you in each wall, kind of spreading off to infinity. There's this shining orb of white light hanging in the center of the room, and bones all over the floor.
This is the first time Dawn's seen her face horribly scarred. When she sees it for the first time, she puts her hand over her mouth and falls back into one of the mirrors in shock before having to sit down and sort of recollect herself.
Excellent.
I'm sorry, love. Didn't have the heart to tell you. I hold up a fragment of ant. You could use this as a mask, like the carapace.
She just doesn't respond. She's still sort of processing.
Probably for the best.
Furthermore, there's this sensor hanging, kind of from the ceiling that's issuing this black smoke. It's slowly kind of fading. However, as you lean against the mirror, everyone else, you see suddenly there's something in the mirror behind him moving.
Her,
Dawn.
Behind them in the mirror, yes, her. And you see it. It looks to be a huge, skeletal woman, but covered in black rags that just hang down.
Can I grab her and throw her out the door so she's not leaning against anything, and I'll go out with her?
Absolutely. You can do that before it does anything. This thing moves very slowly, but you can see its hand was reaching towards her.
He kind of, they both land into the dust and the cobblestones or whatever. There was something in the mirror.
Is that a shade? Was that a shade? Was that a fucking shade? Time kind of stutters.
No, relax. I'm sure it was something much worse.
Yeah. You see the thing shimmer and disappear. And the black smoke kind of crawls across, or kind of cascades down and begins crawling across the ground towards you.
What's the sensor tied up to the ceiling with? Is it chains or rope?
Yeah, just this chain, and then it's tied on a metal hook that's fixed to the ceiling.
And is it some metal sensor?
Yeah.
Anyone got anything to put that out?
Got a wineskin, but I don't know if I can throw it that far. But I can try.
I'll try. Mine's empty anyway.
You might be able to squirt it at it. Although alcohol usually makes fire larger.
Wow, I actually succeeded. I have a dex of 4, and I rolled a 1.
Great.
So, because you crit then, you throw your empty wineskin, it clangs off the sensor, and the sensor drops to the floor, and crashes and sort of breaks, and the fire goes out, and the black smoke kind of stops, but it remains kind of hanging like a pool on the floor for a little while. After a second, you see on the other side the creature return on the opposite side that it was before, and it begins reaching towards the mirror.
Can I smash it with the butt end of the spear?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Oh, I actually got an 8 and I have a 9 strength, so I hit.
Okay. You boom, 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 bounce off the mirror.
Shit.
But the creature,
I step back quickly.
okay, it reaches out, and this thing is huge. Like, it's crouched and like as though it's in a much too small space, but you think it could be like 15, 20 feet tall if it stood up straight. And its neck is about like the length of your leg. And it reaches out, and you can't see its face. It's shrouded in black rags. And as soon as it touches the mirror from its side, its hand passes through, and its head passes through.
Close the door, close the door, close the door, close the door.
Yep, closing it.
Anyone staying in the room?
No.
I'd be getting out of there.
Okay,
I'm wherever Pierce is because he grabbed me and shoved me.
cool.
Saved
So
your life.
close
but
the-
Yeah, as soon as fucking saw a shade and a mirror, Taima was not in that room anymore.
So, Kendrick, the room you enter is large and round. You see an altar standing in the center. You see these ruined black tapestries that cover all of the walls, like hanging like kind of these macabre curtains. And you see these 4 skeletons standing in the room, watching you but not moving, just kind of waiting. There's another figure on the far side of the room. He's sitting, chanting, and you can't quite see what he's doing because he's on the other side of the altar, but you can see that his whole body is coated in black blood. As you look, you see him kind of raise his hands, and he only has one hand. The other one is an open wound that still drips blood as he continues to chant.
And is there any other doors or anything in this room?
There are not.
Am I close enough to the dude to get to him in one movement?
You are.
All right. So, Kendrick kind of looks around. And he's like, "Shit, this isn't the fucking way we came." And he runs over there, and as he's running over there, he's reaching his handkerchief into his pouch, and he's going to try to attempt to put the amulet on the person who's covered in blood.
Awesome. Okay. So you can do that. You just chuck it over his head. Though I will say, how are you? I guess this is probably like a bit difficult because obviously you can't touch it yourself.
Exactly. So I'm grabbing it with like the handkerchief like a glove almost or something.
Yeah, no worries. But as soon as you get near, so you can do that, and he immediately like you see him blink and like his head, and he begins to rock as his head hurts, and he's going to start taking damage from that. But you suddenly are beset by the skeletons. Like as soon as you kind of leap into action against him, they leap into action against you. So that is going to be 4 defense tests, please. So all strength.
So far that is 1 pass, and I have 1 more to roll. So 3 fails and 1 pass.
Excellent. So you take 4 from the first one, 2 from the second one, and 2 from the third one. So a total of 8 more damage.
And I'm down.
Okay. So they just cut into you with these old swords. As you lie dying, or unconscious, bleeding out, whatever, his chanting begins to change. You see tears of blood begin rolling down his cheeks, and his skin begins to crack and burn before erupting in red flames. His skin turns this obsidian black color, and bat-like wings sprout from his deformed body. He now has red eyes and curled horns and screams, which turns into this dark roar that everyone can hear throughout the dungeon. He stands now 9 feet tall, and shaking with anger and fury. He looks down at you and just steps over your body and begins walking towards the door, grunting and kind of breathing heavily.
Does he continue to take damage from me?
He does. Not that it really matters, but yeah, he does.
So we're backing off, I guess, from this wraith door, and we hear a hideous, bone-chilling scream. Then an earthly roar.
You can roll 1d6. See
I
what
thought you
happens
said
here.
everyone in the dungeon could hear it.
You could, but
hello.
You cut off, Rob. We didn't hear you.
I don't think is out of action roll.
Oh, that was Kendrick. Gotcha.
Okay. So Jeremy, if you just give me 1d6. Don't roll a 6 again.
A 1.
Okay, so you're just knocked out. So whenever you heal, you'll be fine. There's no negative effects. As for everyone else, you've just heard this, as you said, bone-chilling roar and scream that is extremely loud, and maybe you feel the whole place shake as this insanely powerful ritual has just completed.
Right. Well, I don't know about you, Dawn, but I'm not sure this is entirely what we were signed up for.
I would agree with you.
Good. Well, quickest to the exit then.
She's going.
Yeah.
She's a while.
So you run back down the ant corridor. You open the door, just as you see the door to the pit room open, and a 9-foot-tall demon step through it.
Keep going? Fuck. Can we beat it to the door?
I will be the last one to get there because I think running is a stretch for Yuckman.
Okay. Sure. So I'm gonna roll some damage for it. Nice, that's 2 ones. Now, I will say, let's roll initiative. And then you can use your turn to be dashing and whatnot.
Oh, I succeed.
I think it makes sense that I would just fail because I'd be the last one there. So I'll just say that I do.
Yeah, Taima fails because she is running and then sees this thing and skids to a stop and starts stuttering at the sight of a demon.
Dawn's still kind of shook, so she fails as well.
Oh no, I pass because 15 dex has apparently done me really well.
It's like she thought she was terrified of the thing in the mirror room, and then this.
You don't know fear. All right. Well, Nerthal and Pierce, you guys succeeded.
Okay.
So, you go first, Ian.
I was going to say just keep making a move for the exit.
Go for it. You can
make a roll?
You can sprint.
I will move as fast as I possibly can. Dash, sprint, whatever.
Yeah, so you can get to the door in one turn then.
Okay, does it open?
It is.
Okay.
Good.
So I just get to the door, right?
Yeah, you get to the door with your dash.
Okay.
Nerthal or Pierce even? That was Nerthal.
Can I do the same?
You can.
If I was to take Dawn, who is next to me, with me, does that slow me down at all? Or can I kind of...
I mean,
drag her along?
It's going to be her turn to dash as well.
Sure.
So
I
it's not
I
going to
will
do
make
much
effort to kind of shake her from whatever thing she is in, as we were both kind of running together, and then I'm going to probably try and lead. So I
Okay.
will be heading for the door.
He is going to the demon then on his turn. He's going to run up, and I'm gonna roll because it's pretty mean if I just pick someone. Okay, that's a 2. That's gonna be timer. I'm going to need 3. 3 melee defense tests, please.
So my strength.
You need, yes, you need to add +8 to each of them.
What? That's some BS, man.
It's the rules.
Do crits stand even if you have that +8?
Yeah.
Okay, so the only thing I could do to dodge those attacks is roll a 1.
Oh, I had 1-1, but the rest were fails.
Okay, which one? First, second, or third?
The third I passed.
Damn it. Fine.
I'm sorry.
So you're not going to take too much. That's going to be 4 damage.
Okay, so that's my AP.
Okay. So yeah, he like swipes at you with these claws, and then he makes to bite, and you dodge the bite. Timer, Yukna, and Dawn, it is your go.
Dawn has been kind of shaken out of like the shock, sort of, oh fuck, this is the end, and just sort of follows Pierce. So she's going to dash to the door as well.
Awesome.
Oh, she's sort of, just before she heads off, she looks back at Taima, gives her like, Taima, and gives her like a sad look, and then runs off.
Yeah.
Like, sorry.
Fucking cowards.
The
can I escape from it, or is it grappling? You didn't say it was grappling me, but is it grappling? Yeah, I'm gonna run.
Awesome.
Full dash, and like it, and I guess like the claws like slashed at her armor or whatever, and so she's just booking it.
Definitely.
She passes anybody, she's gonna like shove them behind her.
And finally, Yuknong, what are you doing?
Yaknung doesn't run. So she goes through the door and she looks this creature. She looks up. Does this creature have eyes?
Yeah.
So Yaknung looks the creature straight in the eye, and she like takes her staff in both hands and says,
Well, I see the problem with you is that you don't have enough love. Let me show you how love works.
and she attacks it.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, let's see. My strength is 7.
You have to add +8.
Okay, so yeah, there's no way I rolled a 5. so I just can't hit this.
You would have had to roll a 1, I think.
Yeah.
So what happens is that like I imagine that it does connect, but it does nothing, absolutely nothing. Like it's completely unyielding. I hit the leg completely ineffectively.
And it's sort of like it cocks his head, sort of curious, like amazed at the gumption and the courage seen before it, and it sort of leans down, says, "I am in need of a bride."
I am flattered, but you're just not my type.
Amazing. Then it says, "Very well," and stands back up, preparing to strike. But first, Nothal and Pierce.
But is this technically classed as undead?
No.
Damn it.
Nothal and Pierce.
Keep running.
Sure. So you guys, I'm assuming everyone pretty much is running at this point.
Do
I'm
I
getting the
get
hell
an
out of this
idea that?
dungeon.
Okay.
My plan is to keep running until I see the light of day again.
You know when the demon has this +8 deflection ability from people trying to attack it? Do I see that like some sort of arcane ward, or that it's
So
supernaturally quick?
in
Or
in Black Hack, if a creature, or if you face a creature with higher hit dice than you have to add to all rolls in the
Sure.
fight, basically. So that's what it is. It's just so much more powerful than you that you can't hit it.
But I can identify that, right? That
Yeah,
it is.
you know this foe is beyond you, as Ian said in the chat.
Because I was going to have a cheeky shout, but if I see that it is visibly like superhumanly ridiculous, I'll just keep going. So I like stand by the door for a moment, like shouting to, or glad that I see Dawn running, and a few of us at least getting away, and then I will turn on my heel and race after the mere conjurer.
Very well. Then, yeah. So it's just gonna attack you twice then. On its go. Yopnum. So 2 saves +8, please, or test +8 strength.
Automatic fails because my strength is 7.
Well, you can roll if you
Oh
crit.
right, if I crit, it works. Okay,
Yeah.
so I don't, and I don't. Yeah, 2 fails.
Okay. Oh my god, I rolled 2 1s for damage. On 2d10. So.
Wow, I'm still standing actually.
Yeah. So it like swipes, and you just sort of. I imagine you like just step back like very easily, and it like frowns and
Yeah,
growls
now
at
I'm
you.
having to lean on my walking stick
Yeah.
to stay up.
But it's kind of just amazed at how you're dealing with this. Everyone else.
Booking it.
Is Yaktung gonna run, or is she gonna stand there and continue taking it? Like, time is hesitating at the door.
I'm too frail to run.
It's a bullshit. You can try.
It's
Are you
okay.
kidding? I
Don't
haven't felt
encourage
this
her.
young in years.
And
So-
I think. Oh, go ahead.
No, I mean I'm pretty much gonna act at the end here, but anybody else go first.
The time is waiting for you. So go ahead.
Okay. So what Youngman is gonna do is she takes out of her clothing, she digs into her clothing, and with her bony, gnarled, warty hand, she takes out 2 coins. She closes her eyes and puts 1 coin in each eye socket, like holding it with her brow, basically. So she has 1 coin over each eye, and then she just holds the staff in front of her, pointed at the thing with 2 hands, like gripping it tightly, and she says,
Come now. You don't just ask a woman to be your bride. Show me just how strong you are. Show me.
Amazing.
Taima is going to wait at the door and witness this for Yaknung so that it can be told later.
What about Dawn? Just
Dawn's
running?
booking it.
Yeah.
She's trying to stick close to Pierce.
Nethel and Pierce, you guys are up first, while the demon weighs up its options.
Backtracking, Ian. Get into the light.
Yeah, just keep going.
Yep.
Keep running. All right.
I'm in full survival mode at this point.
Definitely.
Between the wraith and the demon, I'm thinking, hey man, I just got out of apprenticeship. I'm not ready for this shit. And if the old lady can't run, more the better, because you don't have to be the fastest one. You just have to be faster than her.
Yeah. So the demon considers you for a moment, and he's gonna try and kill you. I need a strength test,
okay,
please.
2 attacks. 2 fails, so that kills me. for sure. Because I got 1 hit point.
Okay. And it did a decent amount of damage. So yeah, he just is going to basically grab you and just crush your head. And then just drop you and stride off after the others towards Timer.
Yeah, who's immediately gonna like run as soon as
Cool.
yeah,
All right,
calls.
that can be your turn then. Dawn.
Booking it.
All right. No volunteers. Booking it, I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm.
Goddamn
Okay.
right, man.
So then,
You remember those scenes in Scooby Doo when Shaggy and Scooby are running as fast as they can? Yeah. Hands straight out in front of them.
Steps out into the corridor behind
Boinks,
Timer.
no foul.
Would you do it for a Scooby snack?
And he's going to fire off a bolt of evil energy. So I'm going to need a dexterity test +8, please.
+8. Son of a bitch.
So plus
I
8, if I
didn't-
recall correctly how it works in this game, that's because he is like 9 hit die creature or something, right?
Yeah, so he's a 9 hit die creature, which
Right.
means that he gets or you guys have to do everything at +8.
Is it just me?
Yeah.
Okay, I have advantage because I'm using Dex to avoid damage. Oh wait, no. From traps or magical devices. Helps if I read the entire thing. So just regular roll. Come in. Regular roll. 26, so that's a fail.
Not quite. Okay, you're going to take 13
Oof.
damage.
Timer's unconscious.
Okay.
Oh.
Just
This
got one.
blast of red energy just
one-shotted.
grabs you, yeah, and just drops you.
Including your armor as well, or is that already gone?
It got my armor whenever it grabbed me the first time.
Oh.
So, the other 3 of you guys get to the bottom, or to the first room. 10 feet above you is the trapdoor left open.
Oh, thank God.
How are you getting
You
up
gotta
there, though?
climb it. Yeah, how are you getting up there?
I'm light. Give me a lift and then I'll pull you up.
I mean,
You
I'll give
lie.
you.
You can hear the demon.
Can I insight him on that?
You can make a wisdom test.
Sure. He's not been overly generous, and I'm not sure if I'll just make my own attempt, but that's a 9, so that is also. Hang on.
I'm with them now, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I think
Even though I
so.
was a little behind.
Basically, us. Is that my low? Yep. Fuck. Failed.
He's definitely going to help you out.
Cool.
Pierce, how heavy are you?
He's like a tall, thin, dexterous fighter. He's not in anything particularly heavy.
I'll lift you.
Oh,
I'll give you a lift.
cheers. I'll accept that offer, and I have rope, so I can let the others up.
Cool.
So
You hear
between
the-
us, can we get up?
Yeah, so the 3 of you can get up, but it's going to take basically your turn. Well, it's going to take Dawn's turn to lift you. It's going to take your turn for you to get up there and drop the rope.
Cool.
So the only people who can get up there are Nerthal and you, Pierce.
That's fine by me.
Oh,
Cool. The demon bursts into the room because he was only a turn behind you.
fuck.
The rope's there. But the demon had to dash to get there.
I
So you
continued
can use
running as soon as I got to the top.
100%.
Yeah, of course you did.
So to clarify,
So-
the demon has used its turn to dash, correct?
Yeah, so it's your turn.
I'm climbing up that rope.
Very well.
As I do so, I take off my holy symbol and throw it at the demon.
Nice.
Okay. The demon kind of chuckles.
Oh. It's just kind of like off the front of it.
It was just to get rid of it.
Paltry idols have no impact on me, it says as it takes a step towards you, its hand glowing with the red burning energy again. But you
Can
sort
I-
of run out of its line of sight.
Can I throw the trapdoor down, put the spear through it, and like run after them after
Yeah.
dawn's up. Cool.
Definitely.
Shouting for priests.
So all these like chubby priests come like running, and then I just imagine like behind you the door just like poof, bursts open and there's like blast of red energy, and it climbs out because it's 9 foot tall, and it just stands before them, and all these chubby priests like turn and just start running away screaming again. And that's where we'll end it, I think, on the cliffhanger of
Nice.
Religious genocide.
Just for the record, I would have run all the way to the whatever the local government is like. Is there a city hall or a castle or what?
It's a massive palace that takes up a third of the city.
I would run all the way there and make sure to report the church to the local authorities for hoarding all that food and wine and treasure and books and clothes and everything.
And oh yeah, there's a demon down there.
No, I probably wouldn't mention that.
All right, guys. Well,
I was going to say, please say they already know, and then they imprison him so the secret doesn't get out. And then like Dawn is having a drink or something in the tavern. So you've given up religion, picked up alcohol.
Oh yeah, fucking arcos.
thanks for playing. Thanks for doing NotACon.